Yo, if that film gets a humanitarian prize, call me Mahatma Gandhi, baby.
The world is getting crazier. People are acting more and more insane. The end of the world is tomorrow. Tomorrow. There's only one thing to do when the world is falling apart. Listen to Basil and Gonz as they discuss this week's news and events through the lens of Bible prophecy. You are listening to Canary Cry News Talk.
You're listening to Canary Cry News Talk. Today is April 23rd, 2021. This is episode 328. And today, Blob Beast of the Earth Day. And you know me, I am your best buddy Basil.
And this is Gonz. Hope you bought the dip, your favorite Asian provocateur for Christ. Welcome to the podcast, where we praise Jesus while reporting the egregious with a well-rounded, biblically grounded take on world events. We're coming in late, but we appreciate you being here. All the people that are live, all the people listening later. I guess if you're listening later, it doesn't matter that we're late.
Yeah, you're real late.
I know, real late. Got baby saliva on my shoulder, helping out a thing for a board on women's technology thing. There's a lot going on.
Cool. You're continuing to fight for the cause to free the oppressed, Gonzo, using technology. And speaking of which, I have nothing to say. I was going to go straight into the Flippy update, but I don't have any updates before that. I'm pretty sleepy today. I did a lot of what do they call it? Oh, man.
Manual labor?
Yes, thank you. That's what it is. I was doing my manual labor today. And, so I'm kind of got the hardened, calloused hands of a man of the fields.
And for those of you... I was just going to say, for those of you watching the show live, again, you are seeing a fill-in for Basil. He's got some camera issues. It's not a live Basil.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on with this camera thing. It is weird. I thought it would just kind of go away. You know how it is. A lot of times technical issues, they'll just go away. Turn it off, turn it back on, unplug something, plug it back in. Usually fixes itself. I took that for granted. So I did not fix my camera since the last show. But there you go. Once is what is it?
Fool me once
is a thing.
Fool me once.
Two is yeah. Fool me once. Shame on you. Fool me twice.
You can't fool me. Don't fool me again.
Anywho, so yeah, you get a nice still frame of me today, but it's still me. I'm still here. It's a great time.
Yeah.
All right. What do you think? We should probably just get right into the show, huh?
Flippy update.
Do you want fries with that?
Okay, folks, it's time for the Flippy update. If you're new to the show, just keep this in mind. Flippy is the colloquial name for the disembodied robot arms that are taking our jobs, enslaving our children, and flirting with our spouses. We use talking about Flippy as a way to explore all the new, fun, and exciting ways that robotics and AI are taking over the world and just how there's nothing we can do about it. Today, kind of a fun one today, Gons. I do want to thank, who are we thanking for this one?
Jade Bounceron.
Was it Jade Bounceron?
I think so.
Okay. Thank you very much, Jade Bounceron, for sending us this one. It's coming from thesun.co.uk.
The giant disc that burns fire in the heavens.
Yes, this is coming from the astrological fireball that brings all energy to the earth. And the headline is Vlad the Imposer. Giant armed robots loom over streets of rebel-controlled Donetsk as tensions rise in Ukraine. What?
It's here.
It's here. It's happening. They are among several sculptures of transformers and other machines dotted around the city. Oh, but they will do little to quell the unrest developing in the Russian military forces continue to build up close to the Ukraine border. Meanwhile, Ukrainian tanks have been seen on drills near the body of Russian annexed Crimea. U.S. President Joe Biden has appealed to his Russian counterpart Vladimir Putin for calm, but Moscow has vowed to take decisive action if Western sanctions follow. And that's really the end of it. There's no explaining. There's no explanation. There's no, well, really reporting of any kind regarding these giant robots. There's a picture. The picture looks cool.
We need our Russian listeners to be boots on the ground over there.
Well,
let us know what's going on.
Hopefully our Ukrainian listeners.
Oh yeah, that's right. It's in Ukraine.
If the Russians are in there, something has happened.
Something has happened. Your telecameras have been confiscated.
Yeah. So yeah, there you go. I mean, I wouldn't expect anything more from the Sun, to give any details. And even if the details, were given, they would be factually questionable. But when we spend so much time, Gons, looking into how robots are going to be taking over the world, or at least aiding the humans that are going to be taking over the world, in such a, precarious situation like going on between Russia and the Ukraine right now. Giant robots looming over the city is a very special sort of psyop, I think. Maybe these were lowered there by helicopters by Russian military to kind of psychologically oppress the population.
That's possible. Yeah. Although I will say that Japan is well ahead. If these are just statues or not statues, but sculptures in Japan, remember the story about the giant Gundam took a knee? They walked and stuff.
Do you think that thing's going to be ready for the Olympics?
Oh, the giant Gundam?
Yeah. They're going to walk that thing around. Is it going to carry a flag or something? Maybe the torch? Ooh, it could carry the torch.
That would be interesting. Although I don't think it can walk apart from the giant building that it's up against. But, one step at a time.
I don't know. They'll figure that thing out. They'll figure it out.
One step at a time. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's keep moving.
Fun. All right. So we have, whether you believe in space or not, we're going to report to you this interesting one here.
Space. Wanna go to space?
This was actually, I believe this was shared to me by Ciara the Beast, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
The story comes from, oh, wait, do I have things backwards on my list here? Oh, man, I'm so unprepared for today.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's really bad. It's real bad. Okay, hold on. Let me get this right. Let me get it right. Okay, here we go. This is from France24.com. Meet the Blob's French astronaut Thomas Pesquet's unusual space companions.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. French astronaut Thomas Pesquet is due to lift off Friday for his second stay aboard the International Space Station. This time around, he is taking 4 blobs with him, strange single-celled organisms that are neither plant nor animals nor fungi. The aim is to study how their behavior in space is affected by microgravity.
Wait, what are they?
Yeah, we'll get into it. During the Alpha
mission... They just
mission,
told me what they're not. Tell me what they are.
France 24 really knows how to hook in the basil.
Keeping me on my toes.
During the Alpha mission, which is scheduled to last 6 months, Pesquet will carry out numerous scientific experiments aboard the ISS. The program includes observing how astronauts sleep in space, growing a plant, moving an object with an acoustic clamp, and also taking care of 4 blobs, the unicellular organisms that have long fascinated the scientific community. Blob, or Physarum polycephalum, its scientific name, is a living species difficult to classify. It is neither animal, plant, nor fungus. Composed of a single cell and several nuclei, it is one of the few unicellular organisms visible to the naked eye, and its yellow color gives it an appearance of an omelet or cheese gratin.
Ooh.
Quote, "The blob is fascinating in many ways. It has exceptional abilities," said Andre Dussautour, research director at the CNRS's Animal Cognition Research Center, who heads the team overseeing the research into a single-celled organism. The blob has no mouth, but it can eat. Out in the wild, it consumes moss, and in the laboratory, it feeds on oatmeal. Quote, "It can move around. If it is fed, it can also double in size every day," Dussautour told France 24.
Whoa, so it's like a real spooky blob.
It's a blob. This is how horrible science fiction movies start, by the way. Oh, we're taking
the blob
to
blob in
space.
space. Yeah. You know, it is funny because they take these things out there to experiment with them to see what, zero gravity and different characteristics of being in space, the effects it has on organisms. You know, this is very possible that this little sucker will grow faster than expected and, take over the space station and soon
take over the brains of the astronauts when they come back.
We'll have to send up Space Flippy to go hug it and then bring it back down into the atmosphere, burn that sucker up.
Quote, "It is intelligent even though it has no nervous system," she added. That's interesting. Quote, wow. "It is capable of learning, memorizing, but also of transmitting information to its fellow creatures. For example, it can find its way through a maze. The blob is also extremely resilient with an extraordinary capacity to withstand all kinds of change. Quote, in the laboratory, under the right conditions, a blob is almost immortal," Dussautour said.
Why have we never heard of this blob before?
Apparently, it's well known in the scientific community.
Well, I'm in the scientific community.
Well, maybe it's...
I may not be a scientist or have any academic qualifications at all, but I'm in the community.
Maybe this is part of disclosure. You know, they did a soft disclosure to the scientists, and by the time it gets to France 24, they're like, the scientific community has been fascinated by the blob, and everyone's like, oh yeah, the blob, even though they've never...
It's immortal, it's intelligent, and it is one cell and can grow...
It can double every day. That's
double in size every day.
Double in size every day is very scary when you talk about exponential growth.
Yeah, I have yet to hear a lifespan on this sucker.
Well, immortal.
Oh, that's true. What the heck?
In order to thrive, however, a blob needs to be in a dark, humid environment with access to food.
Oh, you're telling me.
If exposed to too much light or heat, it shrinks, dries out, and becomes dormant, though it can live up to several decades in this immobile state. Is it a vampire? What is this? Quote, How to wake it up then? All you have to do is spray it with water, the scientist explained. Our oldest blob is 70 years old.
Okay. If it's 70 years old,
how is it immortal?
And it doubles in size every day. I mean, somebody's got to be able to do some math on this. This thing should be huge.
This blob should have already taken over a country.
Yeah, this does remind me of the tardigrades, that are currently on the moon, the wormicorns that we predicted from 2013 or something.
You know what's funny too? Those tardigrades showed up in your favorite Marvel movie, Ant-Man. Do you remember that?
Yes.
When he was shrinking down?
Yeah, I was watching that recently on my recent Marvel movie watching run, and I didn't notice it before, but yeah, the second time through this time, I yelled, "Tardigrades!"
Woke up the neighbors.
Yeah.
Knock on the door. Did you see the tardigrades? In Ant-Man?
Have you seen Ant-Man? Let me tell you about these tardigrades. This 3-second clip of a tardigrade.
Once in space, free from Earth's gravity, how will the unicellular organism react? Without a definitive answer, Dussautour's team handpicked 4 of the most resilient blobs for the trip into space. Quote, we don't know what will happen, Dussautour said. We will see how they move, how they feed. Maybe their behavior will change. Instead of growing flat, they will gain volume. So maybe they're flat on Earth. Ooh, flat Earth blobs. Quote, "We'll place them in a dormant state for the trip. It is also possible that they will stay that way," she warned. "The effect of weightlessness is the only thing we couldn't test in the lab." Gets into some careful preparation. There's not a whole lot we can keep going, but there's not.
I think we got it. Yeah, there's talk about how they figured it out.
They made a blob box.
Preparations, and then they're going to use it for educational purposes. Sure you are. It's all about education until the blob takes over the space station.
This is interesting. The experiments conducted in space, however, will not lead to any concrete scientific conclusions. Quote, you would have had to send it at least 10 blobs. That was far too expensive, Desator said. But who knows? If this first experiment is positive, maybe we can send more blobs on a future mission.
It's true. Technically, this is just anecdotal.
Why?
This is an anecdotal blob.
Why is it so expensive is what I want to know. These blobs are vampires. There's a 70-year-old blob. They're allegedly
How much
immortal.
was it?
It doesn't say. It just says it's going to be too expensive to bring up more than 4. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they are huge. What is it? It's like $1 million a pound or something to bring something into space.
No, I don't know.
Something crazy.
No, they
like
can
that.
print that at the Federal Reserve. I'm sure if they're like, hey, Biden.
Yeah, well, see, you just got to get NASA, or is it NASA, or is this like a French?
I think it's a French space thing. It's the
thing.
international. Well, no, it's the Alpha mission. There was the CNRS. No, that's the animal thing. It doesn't actually say.
Who's in charge of this blob?
Well, French astronaut.
Well, I was going to say
the New World Order.
They could just get it connected with the COVID relief fraud in California and pay for all sorts of stuff.
Seriously, Newsom will do it. Hey,
all right.
Newsom,
well, we got to
the
keep
blob.
an eye out for this blob. You never know. In about a month or two, we might have another moon, a single-celled moon.
Oh no, the blob
orbiting
has taken over the moon.
Well, let's see. Speaking of certain destruction for the Earth, let me bring you this story. What does that say? What is said in that jingle?
The gates of the gods.
The gates of the gods. Okay, it's almost too slow. I couldn't hear what it was saying. All right, this is coming from CERN, and the outlet is Mirage News. The headline, on Earth Day, CERN underlines its commitment to a better planet. Today marks Earth Day. We did totally miss Earth Day.
Well, it was between episodes, so...
I know. We didn't even mention it, though. I didn't even know it was coming up until it was the day of.
Oh, I thought we did mention it in a story, but anyway, it doesn't matter.
I don't remember. Isn't Earth Day on the Canary Cry calendar?
Let's look.
Pull it out.
I don't think it is, no.
Uh-oh. Well, okay. That's fine. Today marks Earth Day, an annual internationally coordinated event to promote environmental awareness and action. High-energy physics technologies and knowledge transfer from CERN have had a considerable impact on society, and the environment is one of the many areas concerned. Indeed, CERN is tapping into its technologies and creativity to help tackle the colossal challenge of making the planet healthier and more sustainable. How in the world, do you ask? Well, me too. Through its knowledge transfer group, the laboratory works with industry, in particular with startups, to drive innovation using technologies developed at CERN. Several of these technologies are being put to good use in areas from clean energy solutions to pollution prevention and agricultural optimization. One such technology is Planet Watch, a CERN spin-off that aims to provide a tool to generate, validate, analyze, and record air quality data. Its environmental sensor uses the CERN technology C2MON, a modular Java framework. Oh, good. It's a Java framework for large-scale industrial monitoring and control. Currently, Planet Watch has over 500 sensors installed across Europe and the US, proprietary algorithms and mobile mobile phone and web apps leverage a wide range of leading-edge technologies. These include Algorand, one of the most advanced blockchains in the world. Wow, that is a pretty pretty big statement there. Have you heard of Algorand?
Yes, I've heard of Algorand. I've not invested in Algorand, but it is very popular. It was very popular last year, I think, or a couple of years ago when they first announced the project. It's the founder is Silvio Micali, and let me just read his little bio here. He's been at faculty at MIT Electrical Engineering and Computer Science Department since 1983, which means he's been at MIT for as long as I've been alive, which is crazy.
Wow.
Silvio's research interests are cryptography, zero knowledge, pseudo-random generation, secure protocols, and mechanism design and blockchain. In particular, Silvio is the co-inventor of probabilistic encryption, zero knowledge proofs, verifiable random functions, and many of the protocols that are the foundations of modern cryptography. So this guy is not just a chump in a basement coming up.
Not just a podcaster.
Just a podcaster with the next, rando coin. This guy knows what he's talking about. He's the co-inventor of zero knowledge proofs, which is pretty intense.
That's a pretty big deal.
It is a big deal. But anyway, yes. Yeah. Algorand.
Okay.
Sold out to the system.
One of the most advanced blockchains in the world, as well as a data acquisition framework developed at CERN and a wide range of IoT-enabled sensors. PlanetWatch will help detect local air pollution peaks and identify local triggers. Another example is BAQ, Better Air Quality, a startup that tackles radon gas using radon dose monitor, an innovative radon monitoring instrument developed at CERN. Radon is a naturally occurring radioactive gas that easily escapes from the soil and accumulates in homes and other buildings. The progeny from radon decay is radioactive and over time can lead to health issues such as lung cancer. So dirt is causing lung cancer. The radon technology includes a cloud-based service to collect and analyze data, check the measurements, and drive mitigation measures based on real-time data. It was field tested in several successful pilot projects along the lines of smart cities and smart homes. In 2019, the project resulted. How big of a risk is radon poisoning?
It's supposedly pretty big.
Another thing, why have I not heard about this? I've
heard of this before. I think people with I know
radon basements.
Yeah, I've heard. If I could be wrong, but I think you can get radon poisoning in basements.
Well, that is kind of what they suggested here. Wasn't radon what they used on the wristwatches? It's like glow in the dark.
Maybe
that melted all those factory workers.
I don't know, but okay. I think if you're in a certain part of the country and you have if you have a basement, they come in and check the levels of radon, and if it's higher than a certain level, they recommend you either air it out or not sit in the basement for too long.
Yeah, buy a fan. Okay, well, I didn't know I needed to be afraid of radon, and now I am. So it was field tested. Oh, where was I here? Signing a license agreement, yada, yada, yada. Okay, cool radon detection stuff. In terms of sustainable agriculture, I don't know if I want to read every single project here. We get it. You got a lot of projects, okay?
Yeah, there's fiber optics. The one afterwards is called Aries.
Yeah.
It's short.
CERN is also coordinating a project Aries aimed at finding ways to improve the performance, availability, and sustainability of particle accelerators. Oh, good. We should all have affordable, reliable particle accelerators available to the public. The Aries team has identified promising R&D projects that could significantly help to reduce air pollution from maritime traffic using particle accelerators, thus making maritime transport greener. That's pretty crazy.
That's just like a surveillance mechanism, ultimately.
No, reduce air pollution. No, it sounds like they want to kind of like a catalytic inverter, like you have for cars, except they'll make one for cruise liners and evergreen ships to reduce air pollution. One of them is testing a system to break down pollutants with an electron beam accelerator before safely extracting them. Yeah.
Yeah, but they can tell you, if you're the whole idea of like a carbon tax and all this, they can identify if you're polluting the world and,
No, but this one, I hear what you're saying.
I get it. I know that they can change it or, they can help reduce
the pollution. Doesn't sound like you get it.
What do I not get?
I'm saying this one, Ares is putting particle accelerators onto ships to extract carbon.
I know, but okay. All right, fine.
Yeah. It's not just detection.
I know it's not just detection, but
okay.
They can.
Yeah. It's going to work into the Green New Deal, carbon taxes, carbon, what do they call it? Certificates.
Yeah. We're all going to have little particle accelerators on our houses.
It's going to be great. It's going to be great. What could go wrong? All right, almost done here. The CERN laboratory, nested among islands of greenery, is home to a typical dry grassland of flora with a rich biodiversity, notably featuring the largest variety of orchid species in the Geneva region. CERN is committed to continued development as a green lab by designing environmentally sustainable infrastructures for the future. This is funny. They talk about all this fancy technology saving the world, and they're like, oh, we have lots of flowers around CERN. You're going to love it. These include the energy-efficient Provessen Computing Center and the Science Gateway, CERN's future education and outreach facility currently under construction. The latter will be surrounded by green spaces and rich and diverse vegetation, and its infrastructure will be carbon neutral thanks to the use of geothermal energy and solar panels. Okay. Maybe the infrastructure. They're not going to power the particle accelerator with geothermal energy, as well as answering questions about the origins of the universe, opening up portals to other dimensions, and setting free the ancient evil ones. Fundamental science can play a key role in providing breakthrough solutions for a greener future. Oh, so there you go. CERN is saving the world in so many ways.
They're woke.
Woke CERN.
So if we combine the blob in space, it's very cold up there, allegedly. Mm-hmm. And this, the green sustainable development agenda that we always knew CERN was part of, all the globalist plans. And by the way, it's really cold in the particle accelerator. And we combine that with mRNA vaccines, which is very cold. You transfer them.
Oh, yeah, I got to get those mega freezers.
And the quantum computers, which it's supposed to be very cold inside the...
Also very cold.
I don't know. Just connecting some dots. We can cool down
global warming with all these cold things. Is that the connection you're making? And also, CERN will drop a giant ice cube in the ocean every year, like they do on Futurama.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. What's next?
Next up, let's get into some politics.
It's Latin for many.
Tick.
Now suck your blood. Now suck
politics.
Your blood.
CNNpolitics.com.
Woo!
Senate overwhelmingly passes anti-Asian hate crime bill.
Oh, we did it, Gons.
We
finally got equality.
We did it.
We did it together.
The Senate passed with a wide bipartisan majority Thursday a bill denouncing discrimination against Asian communities in the United States and creating a new position at the Justice Department to expedite reviews of potential COVID-19 related hate crimes. The vote was 94-1.
Who's the one?
The lone vote in opposition was from Missouri Republican Senator Josh Hawley.
Oh, it's Josh Hawley. This is he became one of the leaders of the January 6th insurrection, according to CNN.
Yeah. Maybe I should have moved to Missouri when I had the chance. I did have an opportunity to move there. I could have influenced the senator there.
Yeah. Why would he do this? What is the What is the fly in the ointment that makes this not Josh Hawley approved?
I don't know. Not enough. Actually, when Tom Horn invited me out there because he had me do the Inhuman documentary, so he wanted me to stay there for a few days, talk to the team, and etc. One of the things that came up with just me and my wife talking, we were like, I wonder what the population of Asians is in Missouri, and it was like 0.4% or something. So I was like, wow, my presence is gonna
you'll be a celebrity.
It's going to impact the Asian population there.
Yeah, you'll bring it up like 20%.
I mean, maybe he's just trying to appeal to his local community there, Senator Josh Hawley.
This is really curious. Why would he pick this fight? Keep reading. Let me see if he has anything to say
CNN,
about this.
so it's not going to necessarily be an accurate reflection. I'm sure it's because it's framed in the you can't say China virus type of situation. But anyway, let's see what else they say here. The bill would also direct the Departments of Justice and Health and Human Services to issue guidance raising awareness of hate crimes during the pandemic and work with agencies to establish online reporting of them. It now goes to the House before being signed into law by President Joe Biden. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, Mr. 420, said Thursday that the bill is proof that the Senate can work to solve important issues and would tell bigots, quote, "We're going after you."
Does it really say that?
It says that. Let me read that again, and I'll do the quotations so we know who's saying what. Okay. Senator Majority Leader Chuck Schumer said Thursday that the bill is, quote, proof, unquote, that, quote, the Senate can work to solve important issues, end quote, and would tell bigots, quote, "We're going after you," end quote. So it's not Chuck Schumer saying bigots. It's CNN.
Yeah.
Suggesting that Chuck Schumer, when he said, we're going after you, he was talking to the bigots.
Yeah. Well, this is interesting. Okay. So you just mentioned there on the CNN, it talks about how it creates a reporting structure for online stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm over here on MSN.com, mirrored by Newsweek. Josh Hawley explains why he was sole vote against anti-Asian hate crime bill. The quote was from his Twitter, says, "My big problem with Senator Hirono's bill that Senate voted on today is that it turns the federal government into the speech police, gives government sweeping authority to decide what counts as offensive speech and then monitor it, raises big free speech questions."
As an Asian, I can go along with that criticism. Yeah. It's like, that makes sense to me. Like, I'd rather not have that than have this like, oh, as soon as someone says something bad about Asians, I'm going to go tell on you to the government.
Yeah, I mean, have a federal organization making lists of people because of their speech.
I should try to join. I should become head of that thing and just sabotage the whole thing. I'll be a Trojan horse and go in there and just abuse it, really, really hard. And then they'll have to tear it down. Senator Hirono is pretty awful too. Like, I'm not a big fan of Senator Hirono and her antics. But anyway, she's a Hawaii.
I don't know much about her.
I think she's from Hawaii, and she's always had some very illogical arguments.
Just to finish off, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
What? No, go ahead. Just to finish off his quotes, in a previous statement, he said, "It's too broad. As a former prosecutor, my view is it's dangerous to simply give the federal government open-ended authority to define a whole new class of federal hate crime incidents." Hirono said the bill was of major importance to the AAPI, that's you, Asian American and Pacific Islanders community, quote, "who have often felt very invisible in our country, always seen as foreign, always seen as the other." Not always. Yeah. I can say, Gons, I don't think you of as the other or invisible.
I need to co-op this AAPI thing. I should do the Asian American podcasters and influencers or something.
And just Asian American podcasting influencer.
Podcasting.
I think I like Asian provocateur is better.
Yeah, Asian provocateur is
better. Asian American provocateur international.
It's an American group for the internationals.
Yeah. All right. Well, there you go. So that's why he did it. Does CNN mention that that's why?
No. It just goes into Hirono and her quotes about Asian American solidarity.
Okay, we got to give him credit here.
I do give him credit. Oh no, here.
In CNN, in a tweet Thursday evening, Holly explained his position, and they do quote the tweet that I just read.
The tweet, which is the one you had here. Yeah, let me give it a like. Look at that. I'm going to give it a like. Josh
Look
Howley.
at that. You're really crossing borders, building bridges.
I'm going to confuse the Chinese censors, They're like, why is this Asian? And then they'll be like, oh, he's Japanese, that's why. And that'll
Asian Agent Provocateur Incorporated.
Oh, there you go.
Well, Gons, I've got good news for you.
Oh, why? What's the good news?
Independent.co.uk.
Woo.
Ben Shapiro ridiculed on Twitter for video buying plank of protest wood at Hody.
Everybody loves waffles.
Home Depot.
Protest wood? What is protest wood?
It's protest
very curious
wood,
to know. Should we play the clip or what? What should we?
I mean, might as well.
It's 49 seconds long.
It's content.
Come on, play. Is it really loading right now? Seriously?
Buffering.
Come on, independent.co.uk. All right. Well, there was a problem.
Nothing. It started right up for me.
Hold on. Let me refresh.
Okay.
Here we go.
All right, as you can see, I just went shopping at Home Depot. You should do the same. This wood, this board, this magnificent piece of poplar is now mine. Here we are at Home Depot. As you know, controversy has now involved Home Depot as people are encouraging people to boycott Home Depot because Home Depot is not getting involved in Georgia's voter law controversy. Home Depot is doing exactly the right thing because, after all, they are, in fact, Home Depot. They are not, in fact, in the business of housing, because you should be buying from companies that are not falling to the woke left. Home Depot, so far, is one of those companies. So here's what we're doing, and I encourage you to do the same. I'm going to go in there, I'm going to buy some stuff, and then I'm going to leave.
Then it goes into some
All right, as you can see, I just went shopping at Home Depot. You should do the same. This wood, this board, this magnificent piece of poplar is now mine.
Okay. Hold on. I think this changed my mind a little bit about Ben Shapiro. I think he's been playing a little trick. I think there is a layer of humor to this guy that nobody has understood until now.
Oh no, I've known that he's played the sarcastic kind of like, the joke.
See, I've never really seen it.
No, I've seen it. I've seen it.
I never noticed it until this magnificent piece of poplar. Like, wait a second. This guy's making a little joke.
But here's the thing, though, okay? The reason why, we have our everybody loves waffles thing here.
Everybody loves waffles.
Mm-hmm.
He blurs the line. That's the issue here. Because he's making a serious point about this thing, right? And he makes a joke, which is obviously it's not the wood that matters. Mm-hmm. And, everybody on Twitter freaked out over this. But, he did his job. It went viral.
It admittedly is the funniest thing to have purchased for this video. Out of all the things you could purchase at Home Depot, buying a magnificent piece of poplar was the funniest one.
And I think people were obviously making fun of the fact that he's holding the piece of wood, but it's in a Home Depot bag that doesn't fit in the bag.
Wood, the board is in a bag.
Like 2/3 of it is sticking out of the bag. So it's, I don't know. It's just,
they don't give you a bag if you buy a piece of wood.
He needed to have the Home Depot logo, on the piece of wood to prove that he bought it from there, and the receipt and everything.
It's pretty funny. Let's read what they have to say about this because I have some questions.
Sure.
Ben Shapiro was ridiculed on Twitter after he posted a video of himself buying a plank of wood in support of under fire Home Depot. I did not even know Home Depot was under fire until this video. The Georgia-based company has been heavily criticized by activists for remaining silent on the silence is violence, Hody, on the state's restrictive new voting laws passed by Republicans following Democratic election wins there. The company, unlike Coca-Cola and Delta, has stayed out of the issue and is facing calls for a boycott from religious leaders.
Okay.
A group of clergy in the state called for the boycott after the company refused to meet with them to hear their concerns about voter restrictions, which critics say are designed to make it more difficult for people of color, in particular, to cast their votes. Right-wing commentators like Mr. Shapiro have praised the company for staying out of politics. Mr. Shapiro posted on Instagram video encouraging his fans to shop at Home Depot and came out of one of the company's stores with just a short plank of wood sticking out of a small plastic bag. Okay, good. I'm glad we're not the only one who noticed. Quote, "It's funny to me that Ben Shapiro is such a stupid rich kid trying a fake man of the people act that he went to Home Depot and bought a piece of wood he doesn't need and bagged it at self-checkout. Get some command strips. Those are always useful. Or that Raid spray that stops ants." Well, first of all, Dan O'Sullivan, Raid spray is highly toxic. Nobody should be spraying that in their home.
Well, clearly, this guy might have been snorting it or breathing it for a while.
Something, yeah. Yeah, and obviously somebody who missed the joke, which changes everything. Wow. "My man asked to put the single wooden board in a bag," tweeted Hasanabi. A Home Depot spokesperson said that the company had decided that the most appropriate approach for us to take is to continue to underscore our statement that all elections should be accessible, fair, and secure, and support broad voter participation, and to continue to work to ensure our associates in Georgia and across the country have the information and resources to vote. Yeah, good move there, Home Depot. Huh. Well, that's funny. Good job.
This was my opportunity. This was an opportunity for Ben Shapiro to popularize Hody. So I'm really kind of disappointed that he didn't.
Here we are at Hody. Controversy has now engulfed Hody.
Are you gonna clip him to say Hody?
I did. It doesn't sound good.
Oh, it's kind of messy.
Controversy has now engulfed Hody.
Okay,
he talks too fast. It doesn't work.
Yeah. It's him saying the what is it called? Oh no. Oh geez. Oh, what is it called? The syllables. The two syllables words are just completely lost at his speed of speech.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, there you go. The cross section of satire,
magnificent,
making a point, and also, that's the thing is, the everybody loves waffles thing. He plays up that again. It kind of blurs the line between, oh, I'm being funny, but also I'm promoting this product. And if I can't promote this product, then we're in trouble. So
yeah, I wonder if he gets paid.
Oh,
or maybe some free Popular.
Probably not by Home Depot. I don't think Home Depot's paying him here, but the waffle people are paying him for sure.
That's true.
Yeah.
All right. What's next?
Next up, we have I guess it's a little more of a serious story here. Forbes.com, GOP Senator Ron Johnson criticizes big push to get everyone vaccinated. Senator Ron Johnson on Thursday questioned the big push to ensure everyone is vaccinated against coronavirus, putting him at odds with many of his Senate Republican colleagues who have attempted to close the partisan gap in vaccination rates. I guess the story is just key facts with bullet points. In an interview with conservative Wisconsin radio host Vicki McKenna, herself a vocal coronavirus vaccine skeptic, Johnson launched into a condemnation of, quote, vaccine passports, a credential that would allow businesses to verify vaccination status. But Johnson also went a step further, declaring he sees, quote, no reason to be pushing vaccines on people, arguing their distribution should be limited to those most vulnerable to coronavirus, and asking, quote, if you have a vaccine, quite honestly, what do you care if your neighbor has one or not? It's the typical vaccine argument there.
Too reasonable.
Yeah. Quote, let me continue on with the bullet points. Johnson said he is, quote, getting highly suspicious of the, quote, big push to make sure everybody gets the vaccine, stating it's, quote, not a fully approved vaccine, but also arguing that the fact it is 95% effective means only a limited number of people need to get vaccinated. The comment put Johnson at odds with Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, who spent much of the last Senate recess urging Republican men to get vaccinated, and Republican men to get vaccinated amid public opinion polling that shows they are the least likely to do so. Well, that's why. Johnson is one of the Senate's most prolific promoters of coronavirus pseudoscience, holding hearings last year as the chair of the Senate Homeland Security and Governmental Affairs Committee to promote unproven treatments like hydroxychloroquine. Then it gets into some numbers here. I'll mention this here. Johnson has drawn outrage from lawmakers in both parties for some of his recent comments, particularly on the January 6th attack, which he has routinely sought to downplay. He said the attack, quote, didn't seem like an armed insurrection to me in February. And last month, he said the attackers, quote, truly respect law enforcement, and claimed he wasn't concerned for his safety during the incident, but might have been if the attackers were affiliated with Black Lives Matter. Ooh, why don't you trigger them? That's total trigger words. Johnson said he would not support McConnell for Senate Republican leader again after McConnell said Trump is, quote, practically and morally responsible for the January 6th attack. It just kind of like turns into a hit piece on Senator Johnson there. And
so what's the story here? He's just a mean guy?
He's a pusher of pseudoscience. He's just evil man because he criticized the big push for everyone to get vaccinated.
Yeah, classic.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's funny because when I find stories like this on Twitter, especially, you see some of the top trending comments. Twitter sort of picks and chooses what tweets get highlighted for stories like this. And, the majority of the tweets coming from like the woke left progressives were like, Ron Johnson is a useless piece of garbage and doesn't deserve to live and all this stuff. And it was like, I'm glad we live in a country where you can say that without too much consequence.
For now.
Yeah, for now. We've gotten to a point where it's like there's no logic, there's no coherent, reasonable conversation, there's no cordial opinions of others, our fellow Americans. It's just like this is why our country's falling apart. It's because of ridiculous takes like this. For example, MidasTouch.com. Do you know who Midas Touch is?
Mm-mm.
They're like they're like a video production group, I guess, and they do like hard hitting political videos. It's kind of like the left woke version of like a Project Veritas kind of thing, but they're left wing Democrat.
Okay.
And their tweet was, Ron Johnson is a pro-COVID, pro-domestic terrorism, pro-Russia, anti-American white nationalist who's actively trying to kill his constituents. Retweet if you think Wisconsin deserves better. Like,
retweet.
Come on, man.
Retweet.
This is not helpful. This is like a 5-year-old having a tantrum over stuff like this. It's really not helpful at all. What
a weird name for a far left. What do you even call that? I don't even know.
It's a production company. I mean, they produce little videos and hit pieces and all this kind of stuff. It's I don't know. I think it's just paid propaganda. They get highlighted all the time on Twitter when they make a video.
Pro-COVID.
Pro-COVID. He's pro-COVID, pro-domestic terrorism, pro-Russia, anti-American white nationalist who wants to kill his constituents. Can't they get in trouble for slander at a certain point?
Probably.
Come on.
At some point. I mean, if the difference is, Veritas catches these people on camera saying the things. It's not libel if they actually say the thing,
Right.
but it is libel if you're just making it up or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
All right.
not helpful.
I'm sure Ron Johnson will be fine.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll be fine, especially with a name like that, Ron Johnson.
Yeah. Well, Gons, I got another great story for you. You're gonna love it.
Today is just, yeah.
Some science, baby! Ha!
This is for you. This is coming from the Los Angeles Times, and Caitlyn Jenner announces run for California governor in recall election. Dun, dun, dun. You asked for this, Gons. At a time when transgender rights have become the new culture war in American politics, former Olympian and reality TV star Caitlyn Jenner announced a historic campaign Friday to replace Governor Gavin Newsom in the recall election. Now, right off the bat, the hilarious part about this is the number one most repeated criticism, I would say, or at least I'd say top 5 repeated criticism about Donald Trump is that he's a reality TV star.
Yep.
Why are we having all these reality TV stars in government? Well, now we get to switch it around a little bit.
Trump just opened that can of worms all over the place.
You know what's interesting? I think this actually might happen, Gons. If I have to guess, because look, Trump was a billionaire / reality TV star, Olympian / reality TV star.
Adds a little extra flavor.
It's very similar, as far as sort of like mythological categorizations of people in our world. Olympian and billionaire sort of have a similar vibe to them. They're very special people that have accomplished through hard work and competition something nobody else could.
Right.
So, Olympian and reality TV star Caitlyn Jenner announced a historic. Okay, here's a little typo with L.A. The LA, what is this? The LA Los Angeles Times. It's supposed to be announced an historic campaign Friday to replace Governor Gavin Newsom in the recall election.
Not here, bro.
Editors, California. Quote, as Californians, we face a now or never opportunity to fundamentally fix our state before it's too late. The 71-year-old Jenner, a Republican, wrote on Twitter. First of all, did you know Jenner was 71 years old?
Yeah.
And a Republican?
Yeah. I did. Yeah, I knew.
They're going to win. Caitlyn Jenner will be your next governor. I'm calling it right now. Quote, taking on entrenched Sacramento politicians and the special interests that fund them requires a fighter who isn't afraid to do what is right. I'm proven winner. As they hold up their gold medals, and the only outsider who can put an end to Gavin Newsom's disastrous time as governor. Caitlyn Jenner is going to be your next governor, Gons. It's the perfect combination. California started leaning heavily red in this last election, which you think that California might actually be fully secretly red, but just hasn't been able to sort of manifest that way in the polls. It's got the transgender thing in there, a Republican. It's the perfect topsy-turvy candidate for your whole situation. The article continues. The move comes as vocal segments of her party are pushing dozens of bills to curtail rights for transgender people across the nation. And, you get those Republicans who might not necessarily be like, here's what it is. It's a chance for the party to prove that they're not bigoted, is what it is.
Yeah, you got a point.
And they're going to do it. They're going to go for it because, hey, Republicans, we got Caitlyn Jenner. We made her governor. We're not bigoted. Look at us. The effort to recall Newsom is expected to qualify for the ballot soon, with an election in the fall. Other Republicans who are running include former San Diego Mayor Kevin Faulconer, who don't care, former Representative Doug Osee, who don't care, and businessman John Cox. Funny name, don't care. Though transgender politicians have been elected to office in recent years, notably Democrat Sarah McBride, a Delaware state senator in 2020, and Danica Rome, a Virginia lawmaker in 2017, Jenner is the most prominent to try as she seeks one of the most powerful offices in the country. Her run is juxtaposed with dozens of efforts across the nation aimed at denying transgender rights, including barring transgender students from playing on girls' sports teams and classifying hormone therapy as child abuse. These efforts are being advocated by former President Trump and Republican lawmakers across the country as part of a strategy some predict will help the GOP during next year's midterm election. I would be very curious. I mean, the question is going to be posed to Caitlyn Jenner at some point, these issues of born males transitioned to girls playing on girls' sports teams and giving hormone therapy to 5-year-old children being classified as child abuse is going to be very this is a hard needle to thread for Caitlyn Jenner there, but it'll be fascinating to see what they say. Quote, "This is the largest, most widespread onslaught against trans rights and certainly specifically trans children that we have ever seen." Okay, talk more about Caitlyn. Come on. Said Charlotte Clymer, an LGBTQ activist who is critical of Jenner. You can't, what? Quote, "Given Caitlyn Jenner's interest in running for governor of California, you'd expect her to speak out on these things, but she hasn't really been out there. It's a familiar quandary for Jenner, who has said she has received more flack for being a Republican than for announcing that she identified as a trans woman in 2015. Well, isn't that just how it goes, huh? You can come out as transgender and the Democrats love you, but the second you have a different opinion on, taxation, then you're a bad person. She describes herself as fiscally conservative and socially liberal. Sounds like a libertarian to me, and publicly supported Trump in the 2016 election. Did not know that. Quote, no, parenthetical, "A recent Politico story found that she did not vote in that election, nor in about 2/3 of others she was eligible to cast a ballot in since 2000. Now that might hurt her because that's the biggest evil someone can perpetrate in the United States. If someone finds out you didn't vote in any election, doesn't matter who you are, you're a bad person. In 2018, after the president pushed anti-trans policies, Jenner said she made a mistake in backing him. As Jenner builds a campaign staff, she is reportedly surrounded by some Trump loyalists, including a fundraiser associated with the rally that preceded the deadly January 6th riot at the U.S. Capitol. Newsom allies have sought to tie the recall effort. I don't care what you're doing, Newsom. And it goes on and on. Talks about Schwarzenegger and things like that. But there you go, Gons. What do you think?
Well, ultimately, because this is the LA Times, the sentiment here is that this is a light hit piece on Caitlyn Jenner. That's why you saw all the negative stuff there. Yeah, because I think that they want Newsom to stay in, obviously.
Yeah.
So, and all the major news outlets are very complicit or compliant to the Chinese Communist Party, but also to the Democrat arm. But I can see, I put in the little our prediction notes here that you said Caitlyn Jenner will be governor of California. And
oh gosh,
just putting it in there just in case. You can claim it if it happens,
Yeah, no, that's good.
And
are you putting episode numbers on this too?
I'm putting dates, so I think we can cross-reference episode numbers. But I can imagine the controllers being like, well, the people want the Republican. They want a red man or a woman. And they're like, well, what about a trans red? And they're like, there you go. Yeah, why not?
Yeah, but, it's really putting the identity politics to the test. is what this is. Where in a world where recently your politics barely matters, what really matters is your identity. This is going to be very interesting. Although, I shouldn't be so sure because we've seen over and over again black Republicans be completely destroyed by the left. A black man can't have his own ideas about politics. He must be loyal to the Democrats. Yeah. So, there's a good chance that I'll be wrong about this, but also, it feels right for California.
Well, I mean, if you look at historically, Schwarzenegger took over in a similar type of scenario.
Yeah, that was the recall of, what was his name? Gray?
Yeah,
Brown?
Yeah, I think it was Gray.
You guys have a lot of colors for governors over there.
What color would Jenner be? Trans-colored?
Whatever color she wants.
Whatever
apparently.
color she wants.
What was it? Was it brown? It was brown.
Was it Jerry Brown?
Gray Davis. It was Gray Davis.
Yeah.
And Jerry Brown.
I thought Jerry Brown was much later. I don't know. I wasn't paying attention to politics too much back in those days. I don't pay attention to your stuff over there. Although I will say that I was in college when I got to shake Arnold Schwarzenegger's hand as he walked by and said, "Hello, yes, yeah, thank you, yes." Came to the college campus to give a little speech. And we all flocked to the little courtyard where he spoke. And I was like, hey, there he is. There's a Terminator.
Cool. Did you feel very involved?
No.
Do you feel politically active?
I didn't care what he said.
You just wanted to see him.
The whole time we're all sitting there going, okay, say it. And then it was like his punchline was like, I'll be back. And we were like, yeah, we all cheered. From Terminator.
Yeah. Like the movie.
He knew his audience. He knew nobody in college really cared about his politics.
Yeah, the college kids are going to vote for him no matter what.
We didn't give. So I think this is LA Times getting ahead, making sure that if Caitlyn Jenner does get a little traction going in California, that they have a little bit of ammunition in the ready. There's another one. I think the LA Times also went after Dr. Drew Pinsky, Dr. Drew Loveline.
Yeah.
Because he also was thinking about running, and they like really went after, like totally slandered him, like totally misidentified him. And I think it was the Adam Carolla show a couple days ago. Dr. Drew was ready to call the author of the article, and the author of the article declined to come on air with them. So, so Adam called him a coward and all this kind of stuff. It's pretty wild. But I don't think Dr. Drew is going to get the kind of traction. Although he's got some good ideas on how to solve the homeless issue, which he's worked.
That would be a difficult. If he was running, that would be more difficult, I think, to predict between Jenner and Dr. Drew.
Dr. Drew, because
I
Dr.
would
Drew's
have
pretty
to say
popular.
Dr. Drew because he's
a doctor,
officially a Democrat, right?
He's a Democrat, yeah. I think so.
Yeah. So,
but he also got COVID. He's the one that railed against the health authorities.
No, you can't do that.
He got the black eye a couple weeks ago. He had the black eye for doing that. He took I think he took I don't know. He took multiple vaccines too. I don't know what he's doing. Anyway, we're in trouble here in California, but we knew that. We knew that since. But I guess the whole sentiment, it's very similar to the 2016 national elections. It's like anything is better than Newsom. And a lot of people, maybe the Republicans and Democrats can come together, and they're like, how about this trans lady here? Sure, why not? Anything is better than Newsom. I don't know. Sorry,
I'm looking into who owns the LA Times. It's privately owned. Yeah. Did you know this?
Yeah. That's why they've been so politically slant the last however many years.
Yeah, Patrick Soon-Shiong.
Yeah.
You heard about this guy?
I don't know him specifically. Doesn't sound like an American.
Listen to this. Patrick Soon-Shiong is the private owner of the LA Times, is a South African American transplant surgeon.
Yes, I have heard. Yeah, yeah.
Billionaire businessman, bioscientist, and media proprietor. He is the inventor of the drug Abraxane. Well, what are you, Abraxane? Injectable formulation of paclitaxel used to treat breast cancer, lung cancer, and pancreatic cancer, which became known for its efficacy. Oh, it says right there. Okay. Sun Xiang is the founder. Oh my gosh, this guy is.
No, he's big
something.
time. He has a minority ownership of the Los Angeles Lakers.
Yeah.
This guy is, I know who he is.
Yeah, and as you know, the name might hint, he looks like an Asian guy.
Yeah. Great
hair. But it says he's from he's South African American.
Yeah.
Whoa. Interesting fella. Okay.
Yeah.
And medical genius.
He's worth $12.3 billion.
Yeah. All right.
He also owns the San Diego Tribune.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll have to look into this guy more. Oh my gosh. He has the reference list on his Wikipedia page is the longest reference list I've ever seen. Huh. Yeah. All right. Well, there you go. Congrats on your new governor, guys.
I like how it's a foregone conclusion. I don't know that I will be casting a vote for Caitlyn Jenner.
Yeah. What? You're not going to vote Republican, Gons? Oh, it's because you're a commie.
It's because I'm a commie.
Forgot. Commie Gons.
Oh, that is way too.
You're such a complicated character.
Come on, man.
Yeah, come on. All right, well, let's get into.
Okay, hold on.
Oh,
one last detail.
Right.
Patrick Sun Xiang. Sun Xiang is born in Port Elizabeth, Union of South Africa, to Chinese immigrant parents who fled from China during the Japanese occupation in World War II.
Oh,
his parents were Hakka, originally from May County in Guangdong province. Interesting. Yeah, okay, so there is a Chinese connection.
Mm-hmm.
All right, moving on.
Now that we know.
Nothing to see here, folks.
Now that we know.
Do not question.
Wakching.
I'd like to put a proposal on the table, Guns.
Okay.
Unless you feel strongly, in which case you can veto this. What do you think about ditching these first two articles and doing the one that I was talking about from the Telegraph? Both for time's sake, and also, I don't know if there's much to say about these first two articles.
Yeah, that's fine.
Is that fine? Did you have something particular you wanted to say about them?
Let's do this. So I'm going to move those articles into the additional stories in the show notes. We'll do this. This first one is entrepreneur.com. How tech is shaping the post-COVID world. And the first way is transportation. Second way is healthcare. Third is collaboration. Fourth is permanent remote work. So there you go.
There you go. That's how things are different now.
And then the next one goes through the, I guess the number of people that have been vaccinated worldwide. There's like a map.
Yeah.
And it's a
lot of people.
It is a lot of people.
Yeah. I went through these things. I just didn't really have anything special to add. The number of people getting vaccinated, as numbers tend to do, continues to go up.
Very good. All right, let me get to that. I know you put a link down there, but I think there was
just dropped it in there. So yeah, this one there's some things to point out as far as just sort of lies, I guess, or maybe strangely presented truths, and it's a little something for our UK listeners. This is coming from telegraph.co.uk, so take for that what you will. But the headline is exclusive. So it's an exclusive story to the Telegraph, which is weird when you hear about it. But it says only 32 people hospitalized with COVID after having vaccination. And right there, of course, we see the 32. Didn't quite make it to the 33, but I don't know, interesting. It did say only 32. So it's kind of like, they're almost like saying it, like, don't worry, we didn't get the 33. It's almost like it's like a side eye 33 messaging, you know? I don't know. That's not like the biggest point I'm trying to make. It's just weird. All right, hold on. I got to pull this up on a different browser because they want me to pay them money. No. Just 32 vaccinated people were hospitalized with COVID-19 in recent months, according to quote, extraordinary, end quote, real world data showing the effectiveness of Britain's jab program. So I guess
it's extraordinary. It is extraordinary.
Extraordinary. The figure represents a tiny fraction of the more than 74,000 people admitted to hospital with the virus during the time period examined in the study. Scientists, so again, real quick, because they don't really lay it out well. But they are saying 32 vaccinated people went to the hospital, and then they call it a tiny fraction of the more than 74,000 people admitted to the hospital with the virus during the time period. And then they don't mention if those people are vaccinated or not. I'm assuming they mean that they're not. Scientists are preparing to hand findings to the government's advisors on Thursday, showing the dramatic impact of first doses on hospitalizations and deaths. It comes after Boris Johnson was questioned at a Downing Street press conference on Tuesday over why the government does not publish statistics showing the number of COVID-19 hospitalizations and deaths among those who have been vaccinated. Yes, why wouldn't you publish those? Interesting. The prime minister said, quote, "We simply don't know that data," but added that he suspected the number was very small. Okay. The findings, again, we don't know that data, don't you? The findings revealed by the Telegraph will, however, raise questions regarding the government's caution about the return to normality. Oh my gosh, this is the worst website. Sorry. The findings revealed by the Telegraph will, however, raise questions regarding the government's caution about the return to normality and reluctance to promise any new freedoms for those who have been vaccinated. On Tuesday, Mr. Johnson said he saw no reason to deviate from the, quote, cautious but irreversible roadmap. He said, quote, "Science is helping us get back towards normality," as he set out aims to develop at least 2 new treatments that people can take at home if they test positive for COVID-19. So it's kind of easy to tune out on this article for some reason. I find myself doing it, but pretty much every line, every stanza of this article has some sort of strange jiu-jitsu move or humongous piece of news that is totally passed over. So one of them being the 2 new treatments that people can take at home if they test positive for COVID. So just randomly 2 new treatments. Why would we need vaccines if you have 2 at-home treatments for COVID? But okay. And then mentions Mr. Johnson said he saw no reason to deviate from the cautious but irreversible roadmap. What? And this is referring to the roadmap to opening back up. And the reason that is strange is because in the U.S., we are given no assurance that opening up is even a possibility by anybody at the top. But he's talking about an irreversible roadmap to opening back up. And so, okay, it's irreversible. I mean, I guess even if this horrific tsunami of 4th wave COVID-19 comes by, you're just going to open up. I mean, cool. Great. Sounds like a blast. Tony Blair will today urge the government to release full data on the vaccine program, including the number subsequently hospitalized and dying, in order to restore confidence in the AstraZeneca jab. The research on COVID-19 patients admitted to UK hospitals examined the outcomes for all patients, including those who had received at least one jab and had sufficient time to build immunity. Early findings show that of 74,405 COVID-19 cases admitted to hospitals between September and March, just 32 had received a vaccine at least 3 weeks before. So they're counting these vaccine hospitalizations only after 3 weeks after they get the jab. Why?
Because it's how it's done in the UK, Basil. It's
I mean, over here we see story by story by story of people either having some sort of horrible reaction from the vaccine, like the day, 2 days, 3 days, sometimes people dying same day. Very, very low number. By no means am I suggesting that everybody's going to die if they get the vaccine. But I'm just saying, if something wrong is going to happen after the vaccine, it happens within the first 3 weeks. Now, the other strange thing, let's continue. Scientists said the findings, which amount to around 1 case per 2,300 patients, showed that vaccines worked extraordinarily well, offering protection far above levels which had been anticipated. The full data is due to be handed to ministers later this week after updated findings are passed to the Scientific Advisory Group for Emergencies on Wednesday. Okay, so that's not even the full findings, by the way. Researchers, Professor Callum Semple from the University of Liverpool said he was absolutely delighted, don't care. This is really important, he said. What this shows is that in a real world situation, vaccines are highly effective. Not only do they work, okay, we get it. You guys are stoked on the vaccine. But then the findings were particularly remarkable because they related to those given just one jab, he said, ongoing with studies examining the level of protection achieved by 2 doses. Okay. And this is where the sort of weirdness of this article goes full circle. So everybody they counted only got 1 dose of the jab, but they are counting this time frame 3 weeks after the first jab.
It's usually when they get the second jab.
Yes, you should be getting your second jab 2 weeks after the first.
Well, it depends on which one. Some of them is 28 days, so that's 4 weeks there.
Which one is 28 days?
I thought the Pfizer was 28, and then the Moderna was like 21 or something.
I don't know. I thought it was 2 weeks. No. I thought the Moderna one was you could go up to 3 weeks. Now, to be fair, they did start all of this at, yes, you wait 2 weeks and then get your second jab. Oh, but also just come back whenever. Just don't not come back. Just come back.
Well, you have to come back in 6 months anyway, so... Why don't you just schedule for the rest of your life every 2 months or so? Just come and get the jab.
Yeah. Jab. Anyways, they're counting these hospitalizations, 32, not 33, 3 weeks after the first jab, but before the second dose. And as is the science, the numbers found in the scientific literature, most of the horrible side effects are coming after the second dose. So I don't know, man. Like I said before the show, I don't really have like a full worldview based on this one article, but it's just this labyrinthian explanation of what's going on over in the UK. And it doesn't really seem like they care if people follow the logic of the numbers that they're giving. Now, am I missing something? Maybe I'm missing something. It just doesn't quite add up. But I do want to say further down in the article, it does say deaths. So let me go back just a little bit here. Official data on Tuesday showed the number of people in hospital with COVID-19 falling to less than 2,000 for the first time since September. Deaths have fallen by 24% in the past week to an average of 33 a day.
33 is the number of completion of the Great War.
They completed the great work, Basil.
There you go. You're down to 33 COVID deaths a day, while the numbers testing positive have fallen by 10%. So people are still getting it at an alarming rate.
Yes.
Again, I'm not really sure why the positive tests have not fallen.
This article is complete, just nothing. It is absolutely nothing. It
is so meandering and strange, and none of the numbers really relate to each other. It's just very strange. It's kind of like they just sort of stick your brain in a NutriBullet for a second and then pour out a vaccine milkshake and, comply. It's just very strange, man.
It's exactly like saying a lot of words, not saying anything at all. Because it's like
a lot of numbers. They throw
a lot of time
massive
periods.
amount of numbers, a lot of time periods, and a lot of quotes, a lot of useless quotes.
It's extraordinary, some of these quotes, which 3 weeks after the jab, but also not including those who got them first, but not the second. It just goes on and on.
I know. It's kind of this weird, like, first of all, it's the strategy we see more often than we'd like, which is just let's bore the brains out of these people so they feel like they got their news, but they aren't going to finish the article. But it's just this topsy-turvy roller coaster of an article filled with random numbers, changing time frames, quotes from literally one of these quotes is like, "Isn't this great news?" said this doctor from Britain. And you never get another quote from the guy again. It's like they just pulled this one quote.
I think
that just to put his name in the article.
I think they expect maybe the UK readers to have a certain set of presuppositions and assumptions, because even in the sub headline here, it says scientists delighted with data showing effectiveness of Britain's jabs program, but Boris Johnson said he will not deviate from roadmap. But it's like, but wait, so the roadmap is keep getting people vaccinated and to open up eventually, right? So you'd have to assume that the reader thinks that, it's working. Maybe we can stop, handing out the vaccine. Like
it's backwards. It goes back and forth and is so twisty turvy. Mark C on YouTube says Faucian language. It is very Faucian.
It is.
Science is truth.
It's exactly what Fauci does, which is this sort of like meandering references to things. You're trying to follow it so hard, but at the end, you just know that, you got to feel good and trust him.
Yeah.
Everything's going to be okay with Daddy Fauci at the helm.
Yeah. Speaking of people still dying after the jab, we have this. No, not that story. Whoa, where'd it go? Here we go. I am very unprepared today. I feel very...
It's okay. It's Friday, man. It's the weekend.
Friday. I'm a podcaster. News.yahoo.com. Mark Gross, a longtime area PE teacher, coach, loses battle with COVID-19. This is somewhat local to my neck of the woods here. Longtime physical education teacher and coach Mark Gross died Sunday at the age of 60 after a month-long battle with COVID-19, leaving a void on the Central Coast and in the Cal Poly community. Gross taught physical education in Santa Maria for decades, spending a combined 30 years at Oakley Elementary and El Camino Junior High, retiring in 2020. He also coached football at schools including Nipomo and Atascadero High Schools, Mission College Prep, and Hancock College, and was an ardent supporter of Cal Poly football. Gross was diagnosed with COVID-19 in March, eventually ending up in the intensive care unit on a respirator, according to the family's GoFundMe page. The Santa Margarita resident posted on his Facebook page on March 10th that he had received the one-shot Johnson & Johnson vaccine. By March 25th...
Oof, that's his mistake right there.
By March 25th, Gross wrote that he was in the hospital battling the disease, then was discharged on April 3rd after a 13-day stay. On April 10th, Gross posted that he was back in the hospital due to low oxygen levels. He died on April 18th. According to the New England Journal of Medicine, the Johnson & Johnson vaccine is about 77% effective in preventing severe critical cases of COVID-19 that occur at least 14 days after vaccination, and 85% effective in preventing severe critical cases at least 28 days after vaccination. Ugh, again, it's just kind of like, all right, let me wrap my head around that one.
I know.
Former students and athletes responded to Gross's death. It's very sad. I mean, we don't want anybody dying, especially at age 60.
Too young.
Yeah, way too young. And it kind of goes into, just his background and his story there. But I'm more curious about his little timeline here, that he took the vaccine. What was it? March 10th, or at least he posted on Facebook that he got it on March 10th. And then by the 25th, he had COVID. So he got COVID after he got the vaccine.
14 days after the vaccine, which should be enough to establish immunity.
Yeah. And then he was discharged on April 3rd. So.
Oh, wow. He was in there for a week or more.
I think it was 13-day stay, it says.
Oh, wow. Almost 2 weeks.
And then on April
25th?
25th to April 3rd. Yeah.
That's not 13 days.
It says 13 days right here. By March
20th. Oh, no. The 25th to the 3rd is.
Well, no, he says by March 25th, Gross wrote that he was in the hospital battling the disease. So he was probably in there before. This is just his posting on Facebook.
He tweeted or something.
He posted on Facebook on the 25th. So he was probably a few days in there by then.
Yeah.
Then was discharged on April 3rd after a 13-day stay. On April 10th, he was back in the hospital with low oxygen levels, and then he died on April 18th. No additional, was there a comorbidity? Did he have other health issues? If it's Johnson & Johnson, I guess people just die.
We can guarantee that doctors will say that it's not connected to the vaccine.
Not connected to the vaccine. Oh, it works. But it's interesting. I think this was published in Yahoo, especially because it was Johnson & Johnson. I don't know that they would have done the same if it was mRNA.
J&J.
Yeah.
That's the thing with the J&J and even AstraZeneca. They are willing to admit that it's dangerous. If it's J&J or AstraZeneca, that's another reason to, if you're gonna do it, get the popular brands, no off brands, because more than anything, the news will be different.
I can see it in the chat already. Basil tells people to get the jab.
Hey, you know what? I'm not telling people not to get it or to get it. You live your own life, but I will say, it sounds like you want to avoid the J&J as much as you can.
If you are.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we got some people to thank here.
Okay, let's take a quick break.
Break time! Come on, take a break.
We've got some pro-vaxxers in the chat who are repeating numbers that have been shown to be incorrect. But enough about that. Let's take a quick break. Now, don't go anywhere. After the break, we got a great surveillance section here. You're going to want to stick around for that, as well as a little update on the New World Order going on. Some film festivals there. And of course, we're going to get biblical at the end. So don't go nowhere. But first, we want to take a second and thank some of our producers. That's right. I said producers because we are on the value for value model, folks, which is very simple. We do the show. We do it 3 times a week. And you may have noticed, we don't have any advertisements, no affiliate codes, not selling you any nuclear vitamin boost up supplements, anything like that. Instead, when we put out value, you have an opportunity to put value back into the show. It is it's the value for value model. It's breaking away from the global theology of advertising, where we have been so accustomed, nay, shall I say, programmed to letting big corporations brainwash us or purchase our time, our trust, and attention, just for the benefit of getting some quote unquote free media. But we're moving into a different time in history, folks, where people are waking up to the fact that we no longer need to hand over our brain space to corporations creating products that are dangerous, or whatever the case may be. It's an opportunity to break away from that. And we're happy to be a part of it. And we're happy to thank our producers who are a part of it as well. Because indeed, the advertising industry is responsible for so many of the biggest problems that we experience today. Google, Facebook, all these companies, 99% of their profits come from advertisements after they steal your data and they get all in your business, the privacy concerns, everything is based on the advertising model. So we want you to rest assured here that your identity is not being monetized in any way. But that does create a situation where you may feel some responsibility to participate in the value for value model in order to keep the show going, because it is literally the only way that it does. And so let's thank some of our producers here today. Gons, are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. He's ready, folks. So the first way to support the show is by heading over to patreon.com/CCNT for Canary Cry News Talk. That is patreon.com/CCNT. And we have, as of last refresh, one new producer over on the Patreon. And I want to thank producer Igorious. Igorious. Wait, I need to read. Hold on. Let me make sure I got this right, because I looked at this name several times to make sure I got it right. And just reading it out loud, I am stricken with a fear down in my bones that I am reading it incorrectly. So I'm going straight to the source, refreshing the page. And yeah, I did have it wrong. It is Igorious. Thank you very much, Igorious. Producer Igorious.
Thank you, Igorious.
And yes. Thank you very much. And he sent a note here. It says, hello from Basel, Switzerland. Woo, okay. Been stuck at the airport for a while trying to get back home. Binging on your podcast helps pass the time. Helps the time pass by. Decided to become a patron today. Thank you for all the work you do. Thank you very much, Igorious. All right, Basel, Switzerland. Okay, hold on. Sorry, there we go. Okie dokie. Let me just make sure. Yep, that was the only patron over there on CCNT Patreon. But we do have patreon.com/Canary Cry Radio. That's patreon.com/Canary Cry Radio. Now, you are listening to Canary Cry News Talk. Canary Cry Radio is our interview style show that we've been doing since 2012. We highly recommend you go check out Canary Cry Radio. Lots of interviews with scholars and authors and researchers and very smart people talking about all sorts of foundational material. Not only is it a good time, it's a great podcast, but it'll also give you a lot of context for the things we talk about here. And let's see, we had some people come in over there. First of all, I want to thank Lalo coming in on the Patreon.
Lalo.
Thank you very much, producer Lalo. And that is it. Thank you very much for becoming a producer over there. Now, a lot of people don't like Patreon. That's okay. We support you. You don't got to use Patreon if you don't want to. That's why we have canarycryradio.com/support.
canarycryradio.com/support.
That's right. canarycryradio.com/support is a great place to learn more about the value for value model and also become a producer. You can jump on in there with a recurring monthly producership. We thank all of our monthly producers for helping lay down a firm foundation to keep the show going. But if commitment is not your thing, you can come in with a one-time producership in any amount you would like. The freedom. Just think of it. There's also cryptocurrency and all sorts of fun ways to get involved. You can learn about the Canary Cry Roundtable of Knights and Dames. Gons, who do we have coming in on the PayPal?
All right. We have a nice selection of producers today. Oh, thank you for all the recurring producers out there. We're going to start off with Cynthia F.
Thank you very much, producer Cynthia F. And I do want to recognize, I think Cynthia sent this in last episode, trying to get in there. Just missed it, though. But thank you very much, Cynthia, for producing the show. And she comes in with $33.33. Uh-oh. She's our Illuminati handler. Producership.
Handler. Yep. Another one. Another handler. Got a lot of them. Next up, we have producer Mark C.
Thank you very much. Producer Mark C coming in with a monthly recurring producership. Yeah. You're the best, my man.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Next up, we have producer Ciara.
Thank you very much. Producer Ciara coming in with $6.33. And she, all caps, says, meet up Saturday. That's right. This Saturday is the Pacific Northwest Canary Cry Meetup. If you're in Washington, Oregon, or Northern California, send an email to ciaralauren93@gmail.com. That's ciaralauren93@gmail.com. Get connected. It's great. These Canary Cry meetups, we're big fans of them. And it's a great place, again, as the world continues to open up to meet other Canarians just like you. Everybody's of the same mind, having fun. And don't worry, there's no crazies allowed. So go check it out. What is that? This Friday. That's tomorrow, the 24th. Oh, my gosh.
That's Saturday, the 24th, but in your timeline there and wherever you are, Basil, it might be a Friday.
Tomorrow is Saturday.
Yeah, I said Saturday. You said Friday. No, you said Friday. Maybe you were identifying today as Friday, and you were saying tomorrow.
Yeah,
I'll give you that.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
You verbalized the word Friday, so I thought maybe you were thinking tomorrow is Friday.
Maybe. Yeah. Well, no. Today's Friday. We do shows on Friday. Okay, who's the next producer?
Right, next up, producer Lalo D.
Thank you very much. Producer Lalo coming in not just on the Patreon, but also through the PayPal.
I think I think he's on both Patreon too, or maybe did he delete one of them? I don't know, but I think he's
he's jumping in both feet. Not only a monthly producership, but also a one-time producership in the Show Amount Club, $3.28 for episode 328.
Yep, and he has
Gons.
Yeah,
I'll read this note to you because it's very important. Right. It would be weird if you read it to yourself.
All right, okay.
Lalo says, "I'm not Lalo that was supposed to fix your AC, but I'm a loyal listener. Much love, God bless, and keep up the good work. Someday we will find the Lalo who is supposed to fix your AC last summer."
And the summer before that, too. This is a long-standing thing.
Yes, a long-standing rivalry with Lalo.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Lalo. Appreciate that. And appreciate you jumping in on multiple entryways here to become a producer. Next up, we have producer Christopher N.
Thank you very much, producer Christopher N. Also coming in with the $3.28 for episode 328.
That's right. And he came in with a note here. I'm trying to find it. It was a long one. So I set it aside.
I had it pulled up.
Yeah, so did I. And then things happen,
Okay. Hold on May second.
I? You have it? If you have it, go for it.
I did have it. Hold on. I had it open on a special page, and then I had to search something about.
Here you go. I got it.
AOC. Win. I got it.
Okay.
We can split.
I like
it's
how
long.
you just. I said I win, and you're all. I got it.
And actually, we need to make a correction because his producership was not in the amount that I said.
Oh.
Did you change this? No. He was not $3.28. He came in for $4.23.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah, that makes more sense.
And he says, "Hey, fellas, I'm coming in with that $4.23 producership because that's the date of the show, and it's my birthday. Holler!" Oh, we've got a happy birthday guy. That's right. I'm looking for that shameless B-Day shout out. Okay, let's give it to him.
Oh, right now. Thought we were gonna, okay, hold on. Birthday.
Oh, we can save it if you want.
Birthday. I just gotta find
it ready.
Yeah.
Okay, keep going. We'll give it to him after.
Okay.
I've been listening to CCR off and on for a couple of years now and didn't even know about CCNT.
Oh no.
I know. It's crazy how that's still the case. Don't worry. You're not alone, Christopher. Then one day I saw the googly eyes in my feed from YouTube. I was like, quote, "What is this mystery science theater looking live stream?" To be honest, I ignored it. Haha, sorry. Everybody ignores the googly eyes. Come on, Christopher. I would soon regret that. But obviously, I eventually gave it a chance. It was over after that. Can't remember what that first episode I saw was, but I enjoyed it so much, I started binge listening to y'all on Spotify. Ooh, a Spotify listener. I actually just got all caught up last night. Holy smokes, he got caught up? That's a hard thing to do, Christopher. That's okay. I admit, I'm impressed. I work long night shifts, so I wasn't too hard to do. Oh, it wasn't too hard to do. I patrol half a dozen apartment buildings in downtown Seattle. Roving security. Whoa. It sounds dangerous. Not always the easiest job, but it did make Basil's list of jobs for the future. So, holler. As you are reading this, not only...
Sorry. I had that ready for him, and I forgot.
Didn't know he had it.
No,
okay,
it's new, kind of.
Oh, you got it just for... It's your birthday present to Christopher?
Holla! And I also have this one.
Wow. Holla. As you are reading this, not only do I most likely have a grin on my face, but Lord willing, my family and I are on the road to Bend, Oregon. Ooh, the wife and I are taking the kids to rent movies from the last standing Blockbuster.
Oh, that's
what a
very
cool family.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. A special road trip to go to the last standing Blockbuster for your birthday. A fun way to share our nostalgia with the kids. We're making a whole weekend out of it. I really wanted to make the PNW meetup. Had I not ignored you guys when I did, I'd have been caught up sooner and found out about the meetup sooner. I would have totally made that the trip instead. But alas, reservations have been made, and an additional 12-hour round trip on top of everything else would not wear well on the kids. On a separate note, to all those Basil haters out there. Ooh, listen up, Basil haters. Y'all need to chill. He's literally half the show. Would you have Gons to do a 3-hour show 3 times a week by himself? Gons, I know you'd get too lonely.
Probably. I wouldn't have a reason to hit all these jingle buttons, that's for sure.
That's true. I do enjoy the math of don't be mad. He's one half of the show, which mathematically is correct. I'm technically half of the show, so therefore don't hate. Anyways, he goes on, accept it. Anyway, thanks for all that you guys do. You and the Canarians have truly become my family away from family. Shout out to all the Canarians. Took me a second. He put SO to all the Canarians. And I was like, significant other to all the Canarians. Oh, he's very close to all the Canarians. No, shout out to all the Canarians. Special shout out to all the producers. There you go. Spam spam that Aliens jingle by Neil deGrasse Tyson and top it off with a Newsome Science baby. Sincerely, loving ya. P.S. A producer mentioned Spotify took your podcast off his faves list and he had to search the show all over again. Same thing happened to me a week or so ago. P.S. I'm 34 now. Made it through my shill year. Oh, congratulations.
Shill year. That's good.
Now, this was a long note, but I enjoyed it very much. Now, this is also a special opportunity because he did the right thing by requesting a set of jingles and the happy birthday jingle.
Yeah.
So
put it all together
ready
here. Yes.
Are you ready to deliver the birthday present?
I'm ready here.
Okay.
Aliens. Happy birthday to aliens. Aliens.
It's Newsome Science, baby! Ha!
There you go.
Very well done, Gonzo.
You know, this is something you, hopefully it's not, the producers don't abuse their power here, but you can request jingles. So, you know,
yes,
it's a lot more work on my part, but I'm trying to get better at pulling these things up quicker and creating a sequence to your request to the producers.
Yes. So there you go. Technically, as a producer, you are, what's the word I'm looking for?
Producers.
You are able to request jingles. Keep it reasonable, please. Okay. We have more producers, Gons.
Yes. Well, thank you. Happy birthday to Christopher N.
Yes.
Thank you to the whole family over there. You know, I hope the whoever's working at the Blockbuster is as indifferent as every Blockbuster guy I have ever run into.
I'm sure they are.
You know, you walk in, you're all stoked, and they're like, "Yeah, this movie's over there, VHS over there, popcorn here."
I also, yeah, I think you are right. It just wouldn't be the same experience if they were like, "Isn't this special?" I do want to mention it. That's Lovin' Ya in the Twitch chat. He's live on the show right now.
Very cool.
Good.
Cool. All right.
Okay. Who's next?
Moving on, we have Mr. Motley.
Thank you very much, producer Mr. Motley, coming in with that fanny pack full of sevens. 77.
Sorry, UK listeners.
I know there was conversation about changing it to a backpack or something, or a satchel. I mean, satchel full of sevens is fun because it's a lot of S's. Mm-hmm. But you know, I am who I am. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we grew up in America. We had fanny packs in America.
Is a good, wholesome family product to carry around. Chapstick and snacks. All right. Thank you, producer Mr. Motley.
Yeah. Next up, producer Stephen M.
Thank you very much, producer Stephen or Stephen M.
With the PH, I'm just going to go with Stefan from now on. Okay. I'd rather be corrected the other way because more often than not, the STEPHEN has been a Stefan, not a Stephen.
Okay. Yeah. Hey, I'll
take my chances.
I'll let you do that.
Yep.
Yes. You can make that decision for both of us. I do want to say YouTube viewer Jonathan M mentions bum bag is better. I'm not sure it is, Jonathan.
All right.
But moving on. Stefan. Wait, what are we going with? Stefan or Steven?
Stefan.
Okay. Producer Steven came in with the 3333 Illuminati handler. Producer, thank you very much.
All right. Next up, producer Tristan H.
Thank you very much, producer Tristan, coming in with the $3.28 episode number producership.
And he drops a scripture here. But if they had stood in my counsel and had caused my people to hear my words, then they should have turned them from their evil way and from the evil of their doings. I am Eloi at hands, yes, Yahweh, and not Eloi afar off. Can any hide himself in secret places that I shall not see him, says Yahweh? Do not I fill the heavens and the earth, says Yahweh? This is Jeremiah 23:22 through 24.
Very good. Thank you very much, producer Tristan.
We should have like a scripture reading, like music or something, just to
Oh, like a bed.
Yeah, like
a nice
bed,
vibey bed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll figure that out. Okay, next up we have producer Ann W.
Thank you very much, producer Ann W. And I believe that producer Ann qualifies as the executive producer.
Thank you, producer Ann.
Thank you.
Next up we have James H.
Thank you very much, producer James H. Again, one of our recently consistent producers coming in on the PayPal with a pocket full of 777. Thank you very much. And a note.
Yes.
You wanted to read this note?
Yep. He says, hello, Basil and Gons and all my brothers and sisters that make up the place I call the Canarium. I like that.
Ooh,
the Canarium.
Canarium. We got to use that for something.
Yeah, that's for sure. Part of the, it's entering the mythos here.
Yes.
The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and the knowledge of the holy is understanding. Proverbs 9:10. Thank you for your persistent pursuit of wisdom. I pray everyone has a blessed weekend. All right. Thank you, James.
Thank you very
H.
much. Something about the chat today is going bazonkers. Mason over on YouTube says, donate to Basil and Gons now, and you will be entered to win a big old kiss on the mouth from me. Welcome to the Canarium.
Yeah, I don't mind being bait for kisses, I suppose.
Hey, you know what? Producers can produce in any way that they see fit.
True.
So
as long
thank
as
you
you're not
very
hurting
much.
anybody, we're good
Producer
to go.
Mason, yes, as long as everybody is agreeing to the experience. But more than anything, thank you, producer James, for your producership and wonderful note.
Yes. Next up, we have producer Saul.
And Saul came in two producerships, one for Pocketful of 777, and one for 333. Ooh. And he's got a note addressed to you, so I will read it to you.
All right.
Hey, Gons. Hey, Gons.
Hey.
Just wanted to share this with you real quick. I'm a fan of the Shin Megami Tensei series. In Japan, it is one of the 3 legacy RPG franchises next to Final Fantasy and Dragon Quest.
Dragon Quest.
Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
Are you a Dragon Quest fan?
I had the very first manga, like the first 4 or 5 manga books of Dragon Quest when it first came out.
Interesting. Yeah. And, longtime Canary Cry listeners will know that I'm a big Final Fantasy fan.
I played Final Fantasy too. Number 4 and number 10 were the big ones I spent way too much of my life wasting.
Yeah. 3 was good in the early ones. I was a big fan of 3. Also 14 rules. 14? So between you
14?
Oh yeah, it's an MMO
after 10.
It's an MMORPG. It's pretty good. But yeah, between you, me, and Saul, we got the whole trifecta. Anyways, Dragon Quest and the franchise that inspired Pokemon. Although they are extremely Luciferian at their core, and in most cases have you fighting God as the final boss. Dejected emoticon. I often just make it to the final boss and refuse to fight God anymore. And I hope God isn't too mad at me for playing these games. Wow, I think that is theologically sound. You play the game all the way through, but refuse to beat the final boss.
Yeah.
It's certainly a sacrifice. That is a burnt offering that you will never get back. Anyway, I bring this up because I recently finished playing one. I had been finished playing one that I'd been sitting on for a while called Shin Megami Tensei Strange Journey. It involves an apocalyptic scenario where the UN is sent to Antarctica to explore a demon portal opening, which ultimately swallows up the whole world with a black goo-like substance.
The Blob.
Yes, the Blob. And CERN, the demon portal.
CERN. I know. We're on the same
and the
spiritual
UN
wavelength. And the UN. Yeah, this is all just one thing. Yeah.
kind of like in a video you posted once about the black goo. Okay. In fact, if you play these games, they always involve a different end of the world scenario, and some of them you guys have talked about before in the show. Just found it interesting and thought I'd share. I believe predictive programming is at the core of these games. Well, we believe so too, Saul, and thank you so much for your producership of this episode.
Yep. Thank you for that, Saul. Appreciate it. And last producer is Shield Labs.
Producer Shield Labs coming in hot. You know what?
Were there more?
Well, first of all, thank you very much, Producer Shield Labs, for producing this show. It's always a pleasure. But yes, we did get one more.
Okay.
Came in during the show. And it's a new recurring producer. Ooh, so thank you very much. And they are, I'm just double checking to make sure they didn't send a note or any special name. I don't think so. So thank you to our new recurring producer, Producer Leonard G.
Thank you, Producer Leonard.
Whoa, I don't know what it was, but that gong in particular was very powerful. So you're welcome, Leonard. And thank you.
All right. So that does it for the PayPal producers. So appreciate that.
Great list.
Good list today, yeah.
Great list. Lots of notes. That certainly breaks the record for the amount of notes we've got, but I'm not necessarily saying it's unwelcome.
Yeah. So thank you for that. For the people that have supported the show with your treasure, you can also support the show with your time, and that means volunteering to do something like timestamps. Thank you, Jade Bounceron and Christine, for doing that. Really appreciate it. And of course, the one of the ways that has picked up steam here, the popular way to produce a show is with your talent. You can send us jingles, ISOs, little songs, whatever it might be, if you have those skills, or with your art.
One art, please.
And today, the first piece of art that I want to share with everybody is... where is it? Oh, here it is. I have to pull up this other one here. Oh, here it is. Okay. From Allie, producer Allie. And this is a depiction of Mayor Garcetti, a member of the Mayors of Basic Guaranteed Income Group. Makes headlines by including his basic income guaranteed program in his city budget. This revolutionary reward of the plan gives it a much punchier acronym, which makes the idea of taking money from the police budget and giving it to single-parent families just that much more appealing. Who could possibly resist supporting something so big?
Yeah, that's the big idea nowadays.
Basic income guaranteed. It's big.
Is it basic income guaranteed?
Yeah, I think they flipped it. They flipped it around here.
Got it. Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, very well done, producer Allie. Again, I never quite, I think, absorbed how kind of strange Mayor Garcetti looks until
Allie
really
depicted him.
Perfectly depicted him in this drawing.
Yeah. Well, if Caitlyn Jenner wins governor of California, I'm sure we will have a...
Careful.
What?
Careful, because she's gonna be your governor, and you're gonna have to answer for this when the Caitlyn Jenner Gestapo comes by.
Oh, no. That's scary. All right. Well, not as scary as this next piece. This one is from MrMagoo.
Oh, MrMagoo strikes again. What do we got?
It's
oh my gosh. I just realized I have not had a stream up this entire time. I have no idea what's going on the screen.
Oh, good.
Yeah. You can figure it out.
It is I don't know. These are hard to describe.
Oh, this is the abstract one.
Abstract,
he sent in.
Right? Yes, abstract is the
word. Do we have a note on the?
I didn't see a note.
Email. He did. I know there was. Hold on, I'll pick it up. Magoo.
One abstract art, please, is all I got.
Okay, well, there you go. It's an abstract art, and for those who are just listening, let me help you. As Magoo is famous for his childlike wonder, and skills when he does the art for the show. It says Canary Art Abstract Edition. On the left, we've got two giant googly eyes done in black. And then on the right, also two giant googly eyes done in green. Although it seems like, Gons, you are one of the eyeballs.
Something like that.
Like you are the pupil of this giant eyeball. So yes, it's kind of psychedelic in that way. It looks like we've got a little pyramid capstone, which also happens to be a dog. Down in the bottom left, top right, we've got the word bird spelled out, but also has wings. And then, let's see here. There's a big red 8 with some dots around it. Oh, I think maybe those also were supposed to be googly eyes, but one of the pupils has wandered off. Yeah. Wow. You've really made me think here, Mr. Magoo.
I just made a connection.
Uh-oh.
It's okay. It's for the next piece here, but yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Appreciate it, Mr. Magoo. And your jingles are not ignored as well. We're going to play that reviews jingle that he so cleverly put together when we get to the reviews.
Okay.
If I can find it.
Wow. What a wonderful reminder to me to pull up the reviews.
Yes.
You are a real pro.
I know. All right. Thank you, Mr. Magoo. Your art is always welcome here. And really, it does kindle in all of us the childlike faith.
The love for Mr. Magoo's art is powerful. It's palpable in the canarium.
Yes, in the canarium. That's going to stick. I think that's going to stick. All right. Last but not least, we have I believe this is a photo from producer Malik. And producer Malik says the aftermath of the launch this morning. And it's just a swirly clouds or trail kind of in the sky. And you know what? Do you know what was on board that flight? The SpaceX flight, I believe. It's the goo. It's the black. Or not the black goo. It's the blob.
The blob?
The blob.
Was it really?
Yes. I just found this article here. SpaceX will launch astronauts with reused rockets and spacecraft. And this is the one going to the ISS, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Well, anyway, I found the guy's name, the French guy. Thomas Pesquet. The Crew 2 mission will carry an international group of 4 astronauts, NASA astronaut Shane Kimbrough and Megan MacArthur, along with Japanese astronaut Akihiko Hoshide and French astronaut Thomas Pesquet. And isn't he the one that took the blob with him?
I think you're right.
Yeah.
Wow. So the blob, the all-consuming blob moon that we will soon have in our skies that will use the satellites as food to grow ever larger until it envelops the entire solar system, was sent up by Elon Musk. So
Elon did it.
Thank you very much, Elon.
Elon did it. But yes, thank you for the photo, producer Malik. Always strange when those, they take off, they leave a trail. It's like, are they really going where they're going? Are they really? There was another story about how there was like oxygen. They created oxygen on Mars, and it's like, okay. They're just setting it up so people, get in a thing, and then they go fly far away, and then they land in Greenland, and they think they're on Mars.
Okay.
Big setup.
I don't. Oh, okay. All right. I was confused for a second. I was pulling up the reviews. I was like, I do not remember them saying they've created oxygen on Mars.
Oh, they did. I'll find it right now.
No, don't. We need to keep moving.
I'll do it. NASA's Perseverance rover makes oxygen on Mars.
Oh, wow.
ABC
I did not
News.
See that.
ABC News.
Oh, so it's good.
You know it's Greenland. All right. Well, thank you for all the producers out there with your art, with your jingles, with your time, your talent, your treasure. We really appreciate it. It can't be done. This show cannot be done without you. And so, yeah, we're very grateful for all of you. My family's grateful. My wife is even grateful. She really is. I mean, I know that she's not always stoked about me looking at all the world's problems every single or 3 times a week at least. But she does appreciate all you producers just as much as we do. It's important to say, you know?
Yeah. I mean, yes. And she'll especially be happy about the long list today.
Yeah.
I wonder if we should make a Gonz's wife producership.
Oh, just funnel it straight to her.
Well, that way you can brag like, hey,
I can.
5 people specifically gave Gonz's wife producerships today.
I gotta come up with a good name for that.
You know how we're really trying to create engagement, for the show. This way, it engages your wife, whether she likes it or not.
The Old Lady Gonz Fund.
Oh, I didn't say that.
I'm just trying to come up with names here.
Don't tell her I said that. I did not say that.
Basil said.
Aaron, listen to me. I did not say that. I'm trying to get people to produce
The
you.
old lady's not. It's like an endearing thing. It's not like she's the old lady, the old wife. You don't do that. The elbow jab.
I'm going to tell her you said that, and then we'll see how endearing it is. All right, let's keep going.
All right. The Canary Bride. I like the bride. She likes bride. Okay. Reviews.
Thank you, Mr. Magoo. All right, reviews here. Let's see. For those who haven't left reviews, you can do that by heading to any podcast player you want, but specifically doing it on Apple Podcasts is very helpful for us. I know some people send reviews to other podcast players. If you do that, take a screenshot and send it over. There's just too many for us to be able to track all of them. But so it's a short list of reviews. However, the one I'm looking at here is it looks like somebody put a lot of thought into this. So let's see what they have to say. This is from this is a 4-star review.
Ooh.
Okay. All right. So room for improvement. Thanks to the second verb. Over on Apple Podcasts. Hold on, I'm sorry. I'm clicking over to check our other. You know what? We do have other ones. Okay. Well, let's start out with the 4 stars from the second verb. Good source of alternative news for baby truthers.
Ooh.
I think they messed that up. I think they meant truther babies. The kids love us. I started listening to them when all my favorite truthers got knocked off of all mainstream social media platforms in 2019-2020. And I find them better than mainstream news and good for people who don't want to dig deep into things, but are Christians who would like a more conservative view on the news and is awake to the occult. Wow. Long sentence, packed full of information. Just a disclaimer, they are pro most vaccines from what I can gather. Oh my gosh. Okay, hold on. We're in for a ride here, Gons. Just a disclaimer, they are pro most vaccines from what I can gather and worry a little too much about offending with the truth, which is why they have been on social media as long as they have.
Is this before we were completely banned from YouTube?
Yeah, I'm not sure if this is like someone who's followed us for very long. Maybe.
It's okay. That's fine. It's okay. It's all right.
Yeah. No. Hey, you know what? And it is okay because I'm happy to not be kicked off of everything.
But it's also funny that they thought we're pro most vaccines. It's a very interesting takeaway from the way we cover things.
I got vaccines as early as 2017, or else I wouldn't have been able to gone on a mission trip. But I was raised in a Masonic-run church, and this is back to the review. I was raised in a Masonic-run church, and close family members were deep into witchcraft, which used torture and infant sacrifice and consumption. Wow. Vaccines have murdered, tortured infant tissue in it, and though maybe old cell lines, when injected into the human body, you are still consuming human tissue, and it still is taking part of a satanic ritual, which I cannot support at any cost as a strong believer in salvation through Christ Jesus. I've personally fought a fair share of satanic warfare in my past and lived through some pretty harsh stuff, and by no means can I support the rituals of injecting or consuming human, no matter the cost or how old the tissue may be. Also, be careful of criticizing their opinion, as they are quickly offended and see you as a shill or a bot. Come harass them. Gons, I think this person is a shill or a bot.
I'm highly offended by this 4-star review.
No matter how nicely you put it. Parenthetical. Sadly, most Christian truthers I find struggle with this, as their pride seems to blind them from being able to objectively look at certain topics, which is part of the mainstream church Masonic religion programming. All things considered, they are still nice to listen to as I do the dishes, and I enjoy listening to people with different views than my own. I know by now you probably think I'm a shill. Gotcha, shill.
Called you out, Basil.
I found you. But I actually enjoy listening to them and will continue unless they start promoting the beast system. May the power of the blood of Jesus Christ protect you as we see the day approaching. Well, thank you very much. The second verb on Apple Podcasts. And you know what? A lot of thought has gone into that review.
Yeah.
And I appreciate your comments. Shill. All right, next review, we've got 33 stars, Winky Face. You wanted something hard to pronunciate, Gons. There you go.
What is it? I got to pull it up. I don't see it.
There's nothing there. It says you wanted something 33 stars. Maybe that's the hard to pronunciate.
33 stars?
You wanted something. Hold on. Let's read the whole thing.
Yeah,
Let's see where we go. You wanted something. Oh. It's sorry. I did not read the username.
Oh.
Okay. Ready?
You want me to try? Or do you want, since it was addressed to me?
Well, you did make the request for hard things to pronounce.
It was for you to try to pronounce. Okay. Yeah. Go ahead. Try it. Go for it. Yes.
Okay. Here we go. Just going to run at it. Thank you for the 5-star review from Konstantinopolitanchikawiaktek. I think that's an actual real word.
Is it really?
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking at the construction of vowels and consonants and consonant pairs. It seems like it could be a real word, but also I would have no way of knowing. So thank you for this 5 stars, Konstantinopolitanchikawiaktek. It reads, you wanted something hard to pronunciate, Gons. There you go. I'm from Poland. I've been following you guys for 4 years, and it was worth every second I spend on it. For all the listeners, this podcast is informative, entertaining, and really worth your time. Parenthetical, nickname used means citizen of It's harder. Okay. Citizen of Constantinople. It is a real word.
Yeah.
Wow. That is a long word. That is a really long word. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 36, 37, 28, 30, 29, 30, 31. I think I may have miscounted, but there's at least 31 letters in that word. Konstantinopolitanchikawiaktek. Thank you very much.
I don't even see that review. Where is this? Like
it's not showing up. It's in our Chartable account.
Oh, so it's in our country. It's a foreign review. Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, it came from the Poland Apple Podcast.
There we go.
Yes,
thank you for that.
Thank you. Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to even try. Okay. Thank you, producer, with the review. Appreciate it.
Okay, that's all the reviews. Thank you very much, reviewers, both of you. And if you're out there and you have yet to leave a review for the show on Apple Podcasts or elsewhere, please go do that. It's very helpful. It may seem like a not very helpful thing, but it goes a long way to convincing those algos to share the show with people who have never heard it before.
Yes, and make sure to go to podcastindex.org, look us up. You can find the RSS feed there. No matter what happens, the Apple just started doing some things to their whole platform. So I think it's about
It's
time.
interesting. Yeah, just for those, I don't know. I think it's interesting to let people know.
Yeah.
Apple just released a couple of things.
Yeah, a couple
number
things that's
one,
weird.
number one, they're getting into hosting, which just some podcasting. I don't know, inside baseball. Before you would host your podcast on your own server, or you pay a service to host it for you, and then it just gets sent to the podcast apps, including Apple Podcasts. But now Apple wants to host the podcast as well, which I don't know. I guess that's fine. There's like so many other people who do that, but they want to get into that. But they're also making available subscriptions, like
Spotify style.
Yeah, not even Spotify, like iTunes style. Like you just click the button and then it charges your Apple account for a subscription to the podcast. So like we or any podcaster could set a price on each episode, which a lot of podcasters are excited about doing, just because it's sort of a monetization aspect.
Yeah.
And it's nice that they make it easy, because there's really no other easy platform that allows podcasters to do that. However, Apple is notorious for taking a huge chunk of the transactions that they intermediate. Like if you have your music on iTunes, I think it's like Apple gets like 30%, or at least on the App Store. Everything you buy on the App Store, 30% of it goes to Apple.
Yeah.
And I imagine it would be something similar on the podcasting thing. But y'all don't have to worry, because we're on the value for value system. I don't think we have any plans to participate in that, do we, Guns?
Participate in what? Sorry.
The charging for our podcast?
I haven't seen anything come across our anything.
Oh, we got the email.
We did?
I did.
Oh.
You didn't get the email?
No.
I got it sent to me for the Joyspiracy theory.
Oh, well, they like you more.
Yeah,
You're less inflammatory over there.
Yeah, so I don't know. But it just kind of shows the transition going on. Not just in the mainstream, because it is. I mean, you have mainstream media outlets asking for donations because they can't make the same money off of advertising, and people just aren't having it anymore. And similar thing is happening in the podcasting industry, where, most podcasts that are monetized through advertisements. And we mentioned it a while back. The advertising industry for podcasting is really funny, because back when we started, back in like 2012-ish, when we started podcasting, it was like $13 per 1,000 downloads.
Right.
Which, when we started, that didn't really make sense. We didn't really have that many downloads. But then the price went way up, in the mid-teens there. You could get a lot of money per 1,000 downloads. And now it's back down. It's like back down to like $10 per 1,000 downloads. So it's a real roller coaster for advertising on podcasts, which has always been a bad idea. So they're just looking for more ways for people to do it. And so there you go. Some of your favorite podcasts may start charging you per episode, but we do not plan on doing that.
Nope. And again, we're on Podcast Index, and we have a temporary Lightning node hooked up for anybody who's techie enough to do that. Got to get on that a little bit more. That's on me. I got to build our own Lightning node so we can. You can send Satoshis, which is the smallest unit of Bitcoin, per show or per minute. It's up to you. You can set it yourself. And so I think that's kind of the future too, is in terms of the value for value model. You can decide minute by minute if you're going to support the show or not. So
yeah, it's kind of cool. Kind of part of the podcasting 2.0 thing. Yeah. Kind of techie right now. So for the cool crypto people or something, it's fun to participate in, especially if you've got some Satoshis to spare and enjoy the value for value model.
Yep.
All right. Well, we should probably wake up. This might be the longest break in history.
Yeah, it's pretty long. Thank you for all the producers out there, but we're going to wake up now.
Yes, it's wake up time.
Hey, yo, wake up.
And we're going to talk about some surveillance.
Did you ever have the feeling that you were being watched?
All right, which one do you want to do here?
I want to do the Postal Service one.
Okay, go for it.
Unless you want to do that.
No, go for it.
I don't know what that second one is.
Doing other things, yeah.
Okay, do other things. This is coming from yahoo.com. And thank you, Yahoo. Thank you. The headline, the Postal Service is running a covert operations program that monitors Americans' social media posts.
What?
Postal Service, baby. Maybe this is why Trump was trying to shut it down.
It's possible.
There's some 4D chess stuff going on.
Yeah.
The law enforcement arm of the U.S. Postal Service has been quietly running a program that tracks and collects Americans' social media posts, including those about planned protests, according to a document obtained by Yahoo News. Do you want to take a guess on if, when they say planned protests, if they mean, Black Lives Matter or MAGA protests?
I'm going to guess MAGA because of the insurrection on January 6th.
That's right. The details of the surveillance effort known as ICOP, perfect name, perfect. ICOP. Or Internet Covert Operations Program, have not previously been made public. The work involves having analysts trawl through social media sites to look for what the document describes as inflammatory postings, and then sharing that information across government agencies. Listen to that language, inflammatory postings. That is the most general, non-specific, not illegal, First Amendment protected category you can think of. Inflammatory. Quote, analysts with the United States Postal Inspection Service Internet Covert Operations Program monitored significant activity regarding planned protests occurring internationally and domestically on March 20th, 2021, says the March 16th government bulletin, marked as law enforcement sensitive and distributed through the Department of Homeland Security's fusion centers. Quote, locations and times have been identified for these protests, which are being distributed online across multiple social media platforms to include right-wing leaning Parler and Telegram accounts. Good job, Guns. You get the prize for the day. So yes, the Postal Service is spying on right-wing leaning Parler and Telegram accounts.
So woke. Postal Service is so woke. It's actually kind of sad, but go on.
Biden's Postal Service. It's what? Wouldn't it be crazy if it turns out that the Postal Service is the government organization that gets like transitioned into the secret police? They are federal.
They are federal, yeah.
This is a federal surveillance program hidden within the Postal Service.
Yeah.
A number of groups were expected to gather in cities around the globe on March 20th as a part of a worldwide rally for freedom and democracy to protest everything from lockdown measures to 5G. Quote, Parler users have commented about their intent to use the rallies to engage in violence. Image 3 on the right is a screenshot from Parler indicating two users discussing the event as an opportunity to engage in a fight and do serious damage, says the bulletin. That sounds like something Maxine Waters would say.
Or would say or did say?
Did say. Yeah, you're right. The opportunity to engage in a fight.
You go after them and you hurt them. Only she didn't say hurt them.
So lame.
Still, yeah.
become more confrontational.
Confrontational.
Quote, no intelligence is available to suggest the legitimacy of these threats, it adds. Oh, good. The bulletin includes screenshots of posts about protests from Facebook, Parler, Telegram, and other social media sites. Individuals mentioned by name include one alleged Proud Boy and several others whose identifying details were included, but whose posts do not appear to contain anything threatening. Okay. So why are they included if their posts have nothing threatening? Well, we know why. Man, it's funny that it's the Postal Service, but it's also a really big deal. Yeah. Let's keep going. Quote, ICOP analysts are currently monitoring these social media channels for any potential threats stemming from the scheduled protests and will disseminate intelligence updates as needed, the bulletin says. Oh, and they have the whole bulletin here you can look at. The government's monitoring of American social media is the subject of ongoing debate inside and outside the government, particularly in recent months, following a rise in domestic unrest. While posts on platforms such as Facebook and Parler have allowed law enforcement to track down and arrest rioters who assaulted the Capitol on January 6th, such data collection has also sparked concerns about the government's surveilling peaceful protesters or those engaged in protected First Amendment activities. You know, like saying inflammatory things. When contacted by Yahoo News, civil liberties experts expressed alarm at the post office's surveillance program. Quote, it's a mystery, said University of Chicago law professor Jeffrey Stone, whom President Barack Obama appointed to review the National Security Agency's bulk data collection in the wake of Edward Snowden leaks. Quote, I don't understand why the government would go to the Postal Service for examining the internet for security issues. You know, just my first instinct is that if you hide this program within the Postal Service, it'll be much more difficult for somebody to ask for it in a Freedom of Information request.
Yeah.
You know, you have to ask specifically for information in those FOIA requests. And who's going to ask for, give me all documents related to the Postal Service spying on Americans?
Yeah.
You know, the Postal Service has had a turbulent year, facing financial insolvency and allegations that its head, Postmaster General Louise DeJoy, who was appointed by President Donald Trump, was slowing down deliveries just as the pandemic vastly increased the number of mail-in ballots for the 2020 election. Talk about a conspiracy theory. Why the post office would now move into social media surveillance, which would appear to have little to do with mail deliveries, is unclear. Quote, this seems a little bizarre, agreed Rachel Levinson Waldman, deputy director at the Brennan Center for Justice, Liberty, and National Security program. Quote, based on the very minimal information that's available online, it appears that ICOP is meant to root out misuse of the postal system by online actors, which doesn't seem to encompass what's going on here. It's not at all clear why their mandate would include monitoring of social media that's unrelated to the use of the postal system. Levinson Waldman also questioned the legal authority of the postal office to monitor social media activity. Quote, if the individuals they're monitoring are carrying out or planning criminal activity, that should be purview of the FBI, she said. If they're simply engaging in lawfully protected speech, even if it's odious or objectionable, then monitoring them on that basis raises serious constitutional concerns. The U.S. Postal Inspection Service did not respond for specific questions sent by Yahoo News about ICOP, but provided a general statement on its authorities. The U.S. Postal Inspection Service is the primary law enforcement, crime prevention, and security arm of the U.S. Postal Service, the statement said. As such, the U.S. Postal Inspection Service has federal law enforcement officers, postal inspectors who enforce approximately 200 federal laws to achieve the agency's mission: protect the U.S. Postal Service and its employees, infrastructure, and customers, enforce the laws that defend the nation's mail system from illegal or dangerous use, and ensure public trust in the mail. The Internet Covert Operations Program is a function within the U.S. Postal Inspection Service. Oop, I lost control. Hold on. Sorry. Man, right as it was getting good. Additionally, the inspection service collaborates. The Internet Covert Operations Program is a function within the U.S. Postal Inspection Service, which assesses threats to Postal Service employees and infrastructure by monitoring publicly available open source information, the statement said. Additionally, the Inspection Service collaborates with federal, state, and local law enforcement agencies to proactively identify and assess potential threats to the Postal Service, its employees and customers, and its overall mail processing and transportation network. In order to preserve operational effectiveness, the U.S. Postal Inspection Service does not discuss its protocols, investigative methods, or tools. Oh my gosh. If you ever wondered how boring an email from the Postal Service could be, there you go. All right, we are almost finished. The Postal Service isn't the only part of the government expanding its monitoring of social media. In a background call with reporters last month, DHS officials spoke about that department's involvement in monitoring social media for domestic terrorism threats. Quote, "We know that this threat is fueled mainly by false narratives, conspiracy theories, and extremist rhetoric read through social media and other online platforms," one of the officials said, "and that's why we're kicking off engagement directly with social media companies." DHS is coordinating with civil rights and civil liberties colleagues, as well as our private colleagues, to ensure that everything we're doing is being done responsibly and in line with the civil rights and civil liberties and individual privacy, the official added, and nobody believed. Stone, the University of Chicago professor, questioned why the post office would be tasked with something like identifying violent protests 2 months after the January 6th attack, which would appear to have little or nothing to do with the post office's role in delivering mail. Quote, "I just don't think the Postal Service has the degree of sophistication that you would want if you were dealing with the national security issues of this sort," he said, in a total burn of the post office. This is a really savage burn that this guy just laid down, and I hope the post office has some ice on hand. Quote, "That part is puzzling," he added. "There are so many other federal agencies that could do this. I don't understand why the post office would be doing it. There is no need for the post office to do it. You've got the FBI, Homeland Security, and so on. So I don't know why the post office is doing this," said Stone in a repetitive declaration of what we're all wondering. So there you go, Gons. You can't trust nobody, not even the mailman.
It's really unfortunate. I like my mailman.
Yeah, well, this is interesting because it does harken back to some pretty classic conspiracy theory paranoia tropes. The one I can't remember exactly the media that I'm pulling this from, but it's a real conspiracy theorist trope that he thinks, a conspiracy theorist is holed up in his house with newspaper over the windows, and he's always peeking outside. And the mailman, why does the mailman come every day at the same time? He's sending a message. He's working for the CIA, So I don't know. In the broader narrative, this is a very sinister use of the postal service.
Yeah, sorry. I think we forgot a piece of art.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, we did.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
I feel bad.
Oh, no. Is it one we need to do now, or should we put it off to the next show?
Well, it's Commie Gons, or it's Commie Cry News Talk, so I guess we can wait.
Now it's not even in the break. Now it's not even in the right spot.
I know. All right, well, we'll save it for the next one then. And I wanted to talk to you about who the person who submitted this. Is it actually the one or not?
No, I don't think it is. But, I do know the one you're talking about now, and I remember the email. And I am very sorry. That is, we have one. I'm sorry, I'm getting distracted by the chat. I saw a bunch of messages saying, do the art. But now that I'm looking, it's one guy saying it over and over. So,
okay.
Okay, wait, there's one other person. All right. I
do it on
don't
the next
know.
one. Sorry about that for missing you. It's we're a
It's
little
okay. It'll be a
disorganized
good
before
one.
today.
It'll be a great start to Monday's art.
Yes, it'll be a good one.
Yeah, it'll be great.
Concerning this story here, I feel like this should be a bigger deal than people are making it. I don't hear too many people talking about it, at least so far. Maybe it's because it released a couple days ago, but
yeah, I mean, the fact that it's been out for a couple days and really have not heard anything about it is kind of suspect.
Yeah.
But
also,
there you go.
Not terribly surprising.
Well, it's hilarious that they're focusing specifically on Parler and Telegram accounts.
I
So
know.
the weird thing about it is this isn't like a broad scope, overarching, full, full purview social media surveillance program. They are specifically focusing on Parler and Telegram, and of course, those are sort of the two. Those are the two you'd go to if you're looking for if you're looking for stuff in response to January 6th.
Right.
It doesn't surprise me. Of course, Biden did that, or somebody in Biden's group there. Maybe I was thinking hiding it within the Postal Service would be a great way to hide it from FOIA requests, but it's also a great way to hide it from Biden himself.
That's true. Yeah, he's gonna find out. He's gonna get all mad.
Come on, man.
All right.
Yeah. So I don't know. You got nothing else for it?
I mean, there's not much else. I think you covered most of it, but also I was trying to do a couple of the things here, and set up the website and stuff like that. All being done during the show, folks. I don't think people realize I'm not just sitting here staring off into space.
And you would never know it.
Unless I talk about it.
Gons totally spaces out and has nothing to say about the biggest scandal in Postal Service history. Nothing to say about it.
I am upset. Well, the problem also, one of the things it is, Parler in particular was fairly easy to monitor. I don't know why they would have to go through the Postal Service. Telegram, on the other hand, is a little bit more of a free for all. It's kind of a wild, wild west over there. So,
yeah,
I don't know. They just divvy up their resources.
Well, it's interesting because they're specifically supposed to be keeping an eye out for fraud in the mail.
Telegram is like chock full of scams.
Yeah, well, and I believe Telegram, you can be anonymous, right?
Yeah, it's completely full of scams.
And you can't see what's being posted on Telegram unless you join a channel.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to pose. You have to commit fraud you have to pose as a conservative to be let into these Telegram channels or something. I don't know. I haven't spent much time on Telegram.
Okay.
All right. What's next?
Here's another surveillance story. This one is from edweek.org, Education Week. High surveillance schools lead to more suspensions, lower achievements.
Ooh, if this isn't a great metaphor for a surveillance state.
Oh, I
don't know what it is.
Yeah, this is fantastic. As school shootings crop up once again on school campuses this spring, school leaders may be tempted to tighten security and surveillance measures as they reopen after months of remote instructions. But new research suggests schools that tighten security and surveillance in response to shootings or other acts of violence may worsen long-term discipline disparities and academic progress, particularly for Black students. It's almost like it's kind of curling back in on itself, the trying to really accommodate via race is getting in the way of the surveillance state in some way.
Well, it's got an interesting parallel to the welfare program.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Whereas created to help out Black families, and then the side effects and the attached rules and stuff ended up hurting the Black community even more.
Yeah. Schools that maintain the closest watch on students have significantly higher suspension rates and lower math performance than schools that use a lighter touch according to new research released at the annual American Educational Research Association conference earlier this month. The findings also suggest a high surveillance culture at school can make it harder for educators to implement strategies like restorative justice intended to reduce discipline disparities for students of color. Jason Jabari, a data analyst for the Social Policy Institute at Washington University in St. Louis, and Otis Johnson, an education professor and the executive director of Johns Hopkins University's Center for Safe and Healthy Schools, used federal longitudinal data to look at surveillance and its effects on more than 16,000 students in 750 high schools nationwide. In the school study, surveillance took many forms: structural, such as having security cameras and metal detectors, random drug tests, wand sweeps, and dog sniffs for contraband.
Oh my gosh,
yeah,
dogs?
Yeah. And barring students from leaving campus for lunch. But researchers also noted schools with strict dress codes.
So they basically turned it into a prison.
It sounds like a prison or an airport with those dogs. They're sniffing dogs.
Yeah, but you can leave an airport for lunch.
But researchers also noted schools with strict dress codes or uniforms, those that required clear book bags and identification badge for students and staff. Based on those practices, researchers divided the pool of schools into thirds. A 10th grader who attended one of the third of schools with the higher levels of surveillance was significantly more likely to be suspended at least once by the end of high school, and had significantly lower math achievement test scores by 12th grade than
specifically math, huh?
Yeah. Than appear in one of the least controlling third of schools. Moreover, students who graduated from these schools where security sweeps and metal detectors were common proved significantly less likely to enroll and persist in college than were students in schools with lower levels of surveillance.
Newsflash: prisoner gets out of prison, doesn't willfully enroll in a new prison.
The findings build on more than a decade of research suggesting school climate can suffer and students tend to feel less safe in schools with highly visible surveillance, such as metal detectors. Yeah, I don't like where this is headed, because it's almost like we need to make the surveillance less noticeable for the children.
Yeah, no, that's a good angle on it.
Quote, a lot of social control mechanisms don't have a clear problem that they're trying to address, or it's a nebulous problem like school shootings, which are extremely rare. They're not put in place because of a specific incident, but because of general fears, and whether or not they even address those fears is unclear, said Samantha Viano, an assistant professor of education at George Mason University, who studies school discipline, but who was not part of the study. They always have people not part of the study. The study's findings raise questions, she said, about, quote, how do you change the attitude of what schools should look like? These security mechanisms are just more about control than about creating the kind of atmosphere that we want for students.
Amen, sister.
Yep. And these consequences fell disproportionately on black students who were more than 4 times more likely than white students to attend a school with the highest level of surveillance. Those findings align with previous research. One landmark study using restricted federal data on school security measures released after school shootings in Sandy Hook, Connecticut, found that the movement toward highly intensive school security and surveillance was driven by high-profile shootings like Sandy Hook and another in Columbine High School in Colorado 22 years ago this week.
That's right. Old.
We are old. That was April 20th, or wasn't it? Hitler's birthday, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't recall.
I think it was April 20th. Which took place in mostly white suburban schools. However, the study found schools that served mostly students of color have been more likely than suburban schools to use the most intensive security measures in response to the school security push. Across all kinds of schools, but particularly in the most tightly monitored schools, Jabari and Johnson found black boys and girls were significantly more likely than students of other races to be suspended. Once researchers controlled for the level of surveillance in their schools and the associated increase in suspensions and drop in test scores, black students were as likely as students of other races to attend college. Keeps going here. This is a pretty long article. I don't think I'm going to read though. Well, it's not too bad. Too much more left there.
It's almost done. I think the last section is just goes into the restorative justice stuff, which I don't know if we know too much about to comment on.
Yeah. We'll just quote Jabari here. Jabari warned that heavy surveillance systems can make it harder to create a culture for more holistic discipline practices. Quote, when we look at this research, it does show that if you build it, you will use it, Jabari said. If you have the security guards, if you have the metal detectors and the sweeps and all of those things, schools do tend to use them. I'm not saying that these surveillance structures can't coexist with a different philosophy on how students and teachers can come to a reconciliation, but I do think there's some part of it that seems antithetical.
Well, you know what this means, Gons?
And what's that?
Surveillance is racist.
Oh.
Surveillance is racist, and the post office is surveilling, and so the post office is racist.
Well, that just goes right back into we live in a racist nation, and all the old U.S. structures are white nationalists, hubs of,
Yeah, I think we can stick with surveillance as racist. This is a smaller little nubbin to be able to understand.
I know, I get it, but it's just it's gone so far around that it actually came back to where it started, which is that traditional white America is racist. Which you can argue. You can argue that any U.S. Federal institution is racist. That's what I hear from the progressives all the time. Any kind of traditional American institution is a bastion of white supremacy, is what I've been told by the libjos. And so that affirms that thought.
Well, there are certainly some big conversations about that going on around us. But one thing we can all agree on, surveillance is racist. And that's the lesson to take from this.
Yeah.
So any opportunity, any organization takes towards surveilling citizens is a step further into white supremacy.
Sometimes I hope people understand that, like, when we talk like that, sometimes that we are speaking with a little bit of sarcasm and irony.
There is sort of like also, I'm not being sarcastic. I think surveillance is racist, and I think all mass surveillance should stop because of its racist roots, but among other things. But yes, a lot of times when we get in these conversations, it could be confusing for somebody who's new to the show.
Yes,
it's kind of it's the Ben Shapiro. It's the Ben Shapiro
misunderstood, like Ben Shapiro. Yeah, that's what it is.
Everybody loves waffles.
I'm just trying to sell some waffles.
Yeah, what did he call it? Perfect poplar plump. I forget. But yes, for those who might be new to the show and don't have a history of our many thousands of hours of conversations around these things, that's why we just gotta not take every second for granted, Gons.
Speaking of offending people, which we like to do here, we have a story here. It's about the New World Order, or at least mentioning the New World Order.
A New World Order. New World Order. New World Order.
And somebody had mentioned that we should have like an Israeli jingle. So I made one. I have an ISO, I guess. I don't know if it's usable, though. Should we try it here?
I don't know. I haven't heard it. Let's try it out.
Just merely mentioning Israel or questioning in any way Israel's policies is not the same thing as being pro-Hamas.
Zionist pig!
That's kind of fun. Is that Jon Stewart?
It's Jon Stewart.
Huh.
Jon Stewart had a segment.
What a mind bender.
Yeah, he had a segment where he was criticizing the Israeli government about something. And it was like a bit where every time he mentioned Israel, he had like 5 faces popping in on his face and like yell at him about, do you support child killing and all the anti or pro-Israel type of arguments in the Middle East. And then I have this ISO here.
Is not the same thing as being
Zionist pig.
I wasn't supposed to have that.
It's a good shorter one.
Yeah.
Is not the same thing as being
Zionist pig.
I don't think I finished that one. I think I bounced it before I finished it because there's something missing at the beginning. Anyway.
I like the first one. I think it's pretty good.
Okay. It's 10 seconds long, though.
I mean, and the fact that it's Jon Stewart, it just gives it such a delicious, mind-bending quality.
Just merely mentioning Israel or questioning in any way Israel's policies is not the same thing as being pro-Hamas.
Zionist pig.
We are so confusing to people.
We are confusing to people.
This show would be so confusing if I just popped in.
It's okay.
I'm very proud of everybody who found the show and has stuck with it.
This is a real quick one here. So if you want to...
Do you want to do this one?
Just do it real quick. You don't have to read. The article's fairly short, but anyway.
Okay. This is coming from IsraelHayom.com. Israeli short film about pizza order gone wrong wins humanitarian award. Oh, geez. Oh, gosh. We're really going to get into it, aren't we? Okay. An Israeli short film about a pizza order that goes very, very wrong has been awarded a humanitarian prize. Oshri Cohen's New World Pizza Order, produced by Haven Originals, was named on Tuesday for the award of Distinction Humanitarian Award at the Accolade Global Film Competition. In the movie, the protagonist is an average Joe who simply wants to order a pizza through his smart speaker. Hungry and in a hurry, he gives into the temptation to accept new terms and conditions that allow the use of his personal information in order to make the order process frictionless. Wow. This leads him to the terrifying realization that, quote, they know way too much, and the pizza lover finds himself being violently interrogated by government officials in his own living room. Wow, we're going to have to check this out. Cohen's short is part of Project Out, a series of short films that focus on the little guy versus the government or big tech. Each film tells the story of a different character in a different world of rules and a constant conflict, and looks at the question of how far people should go to remain good, law-abiding citizens. Obey, citizen. Haven Originals co-founder Ronan Menipaz says... Manipas, there we go. Quote, we're thrilled to receive this award. Haven Originals, our concept development production house, focuses on the production of content with the goal of encouraging critical thinking and breaking paradigms. Sounds profitable. We're very proud of this project and see this award as a testament that our efforts are echoing. The goal of the Humanitarian Award is to honor filmmakers who bring awareness to ecological, political, social justice, health and wellness, animal welfare, and conservation issues through excellence in filmmaking. Thus far, the Project Out films have won 12 global awards. We don't care about you. Okay. Huh. That is not the direction I thought that New World Pizza Order was going to take. Yeah. Obviously, some triggering... that whole phrase is triggering on so many different levels. Yeah. Yes, of course, some references to Pizzagate and things like that. Although hearing the breakdown of the film seems watchable.
Yeah,
let's see. Is this? Yeah, tell me your thoughts.
I was going to say that although it probably does. And I haven't seen it. I've only know based on this article here, but it probably taps into that sentiment that people are feeling now. Like, hey, how much do we push back and how much do we remain? It's a good philosophical question. However, we are talking about the, what's this award outlet? Humanitarian Prize by the Accolade Global Film Competition.
Yo, if that film gets a humanitarian prize, call me Mahatma Gandhi, baby, because this show needs a humanitarian prize. Where's our trophy? New World Pizza Order. Okay.
Well, that's kind of what I'm saying, though. Like the fact that it wins this award, maybe it's good for the filmmakers or whatever, but it's not ever going to be like a mainstream thing. I don't think it's ever gonna.
No, yes, it's just a little film and a little short film and a little, just, I've never heard of that film festival. So, there's thousands of these little film festivals. I do want to make a complaint though. Look, we got past the New World Pizza Order title, which is obviously triggering.
Yeah.
They have another short film on YouTube, same company, same guys, and it's called Dark Pasta. You can't do two of them, guys. You can't do two Pizzagate triggering films. Oh my gosh.
The next one's going to be Freaky Fettuccine.
Yeah, hot dogs at the White House.
Is that another one? Is that a real one?
No.
Obama orders hot dogs.
Guys, could you hear the excitement in Gonz's voice?
Did they really make a film called Obama's Hot Dogs?
Shouting at clouds says Dark Pasta is racist.
Oh.
And I am just pulling up the film. It is on YouTube, New World Pizza Order. And the Haven, whatever, the company, it says a Haven Original.
Yeah.
And their little logo is a bird cage.
Being ripped off, man.
This whole thing. Oh, and the bird is on top of the cage. Dude, we are too close. The cage. We are too close for comfort.
Yeah, it's possible that they did searches and they found, the theme, and they just went with their own. Oh, it's cool.
Oh, look, we're not the only humans to ever consider the birdcage as a symbol.
We are the only
outside of the cage. But I'm just saying, considering the subject matter, considering the misleading, layered, triggering titles, and then they open up with a bird cage and a bird on top of it as their logo. I don't know. I'm going to watch this. It's 6 minutes long, so I'm going to save it for when we're done here. Anyways, okay, go check it out. New World Pizza Order, folks. Oh, I don't know. I'm going to watch it. Maybe I'll tweet it if you want an easy find, but all right. Are you done?
Well, yeah. Well, we got one more quick one.
Oh, we have more. Okay, let's keep it going.
One more story, and then we'll call it a day.
It's gotta be magical.
I wasn't trying to push us out. I just legitimately thought that was the last thing we had.
Okay. EurekaAlert.org. Gene therapy shows promise in initial trial for patients with childhood blindness. And who sent this email to? Somebody sent this story to us. So thank you for that. It's one of our regular folk there. I can't remember who it was. The story says Philadelphia.
We need to start noting that earlier.
I know we need to put that in the actual show notes there. Sometimes I do. I just need to make it a habit. A new gene therapy for one of the most common forms of congenital blindness was safe and improved patients' vision. Has safe anyway. According to initial data from a clinical trial led by researchers at the SCHEIE SCHEIE. I don't know how to pronounce that.
I can't find it. Shea Institute.
That's really hard to say. Shea.
Oh my gosh. It is too late in the show for this kind of shenanigans, Gons.
Shenanigan Eye Institute and the Perelman School of Medicine at the University of Pennsylvania. The therapy delivers working copies of GUCY2D to the eyes of patients who have severe vision impairments caused by mutations in the gene. Each of the first 3 treatments, patients experienced improvements in some aspects of vision without serious side effects, according to the new study published in the journal Eye Science. Quote, we found sustained improvements in both day and night vision, even with a relatively low dose of the gene therapy, said the study lead author Samuel G. Jacobson, MD, PhD, a professor of ophthalmology.
I can't even find it where you're reading. I'm like not even reading the same article.
And the Perelman School of Medicine. The GUCY2D gene is one of about 25 different human genes whose mutations cause problems in the retina. To cut it off here, it's kind of a longer thing here, but the idea of healing the blind is interesting for biblical reasons here. Mm-hmm. And of course, you have, I think in Matthew, I believe it was Matthew 12. I'm going to make sure I have the reference right. I think it was Matthew 12 when Jesus heals the blind. Let me just real quick. Yeah, Matthew 12:22 is when the demon-possessed man who was blind and mute was brought to Jesus, and he healed him. And of course, we talk about the Antichrist spirit and the Antichrist himself. Matthew 24. For false Christs and false prophets will appear and perform great signs and wonders, deceiving even the elect, if possible. And, healing the blind, being specifically mentioned in the New Testament as one of Jesus's miracles, it's fascinating to consider that we're at a point in technology and science where the blind are literally being healed with the use of technology and science. And again, it just affirms this idea that we're living in this interesting time where, any form of advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic or miracle. I'll add miracle to that. It's just something to note, because once they start really, because we've talked about like the people who have or paraplegic and that kind of thing with the brain chip implants. But once we just start healing blind people, we start healing sick people, which is, I think the whole COVID thing and the vaccine has to do with that too. But we're really talking about an era of signs and wonder, false counterfeit signs and wonders. 2 Thessalonians 2 also talks about that. Satan will deceive the world with all power of false signs and wonders. So the blind being healed specifically, I think, is fascinating to look at because, again, there's a reference to Jesus' miracle. So there you go. We live in some interesting times, Basil.
Yeah, well, and it's interesting that it's specifically gene therapy, mm-hmm. which is, it's different if there was a surgery or a medicine even.
Yeah, let me replace your eyeball.
Yeah, or whatever. There's lots of ways it could be done. But just the concept of gene therapy, taking control of the coding mm-hmm. of the human body, being the route of this miracle, is especially close to, like you said, the counterfeit signs and wonders concept versus, some more traditional medical interventions. So, yeah, that's very interesting.
Yep. And now I'm done.
We did it, folks. We made it through another one. Happy Friday, everybody, and please enjoy your weekend. And thanks for listening to this episode of Canary Cry News Talk. Keep in mind, we are going to be back on Monday, April 26th. Monday, April 26th, 2021. Be there. And make sure to follow us. Was that a sneeze?
No, back hurts.
Stretch,
I'm
big
hurting
stretch.
Today. Yeah,
it's a hard day. It's a hard day.
It's rough.
And it's Fridays. It's hard for podcasters. It's the rush, the Friday rush. I don't know what I'm saying. Thanks, everybody.
You're not making sense anymore. We need to end the show as quickly as possible.
April 26th. It's a Monday. Be there. We'll be here with another, probably longer than needed episode of Canary Cry News Talk. So while I'm on the subject, go ahead and put that on your calendar. Turn on notifications. If you're on YouTube and you have not liked the video yet, please like it now. Helps out quite a bit. And remember us for Monday's show, because we will be thanking more producers of Canary Cry News Talk. And is that you? It could be you. And you can head over to patreon.com/CCNT for Canary Cry News Talk. Become a producer there. Or if you don't like Patreon, head on over to canarycryradio.com/support.
Canary Cry canarycryradio.com/support.
That's right. canarycryradio.com/support. A great place to become a producer. All sorts of options to fit your producer needs. And I do want to thank our producers of this episode 328 of Canary Cry News Talk, starting with producer Igorious, producer Lalo, Cynthia, Mark C, Ciara, Lalo again, Christopher N, and also happy birthday, Christopher, Mr. Motley, Stephen M, producer Tristan, executive producer Ann, James H, of course, Saul, and Shield Labs, and our new producer Leonard G. Thank you so much. My brain is starting to not work anymore, but that's besides the point, because I want to thank all of our artists and our jingle makers and everybody who helps create content for the show. We can't wait to see what you think up next. And remember, if you're in Pacific Northwest, go ahead and send an email to Ciara Lauren, CIARALAUREN 93 at gmail.com to get hooked up with the Canary Cry meetup tomorrow on Saturday. Okay. Leave us ratings and reviews. We need them. We want them. We need them. We must have them. Head over to Apple Podcasts on your phone there. Leave a rating and review, or just wherever you listen to the show, leave a review. It convinces those algorithms to share the show with other people, with other sheep. Wake the sheeple up.
Normies. Way shake those normies.
Yeah.
We're going to get in trouble for that.
Don't shake the normies. They're very fragile. Oh my gosh.
Or we can do how Alex Jones always apologizes. Metaphorically. We're talking metaphorically.
That's how he covers himself.
He
legally.
always says that to cover himself when he says something ridiculous.
Completely out of his mind, insane, cuckoo bananas. Yeah, that is a good way to do it.
Yeah.
Okay, where was I? Leaving reviews. Thank you very much. But there's all sorts of ways to produce the show, and that includes art and music and jingles. If you're a musical person, you can create songs. We'll be playing the Canary Cry mixtape at the end of the show. And if you're an artist or a jingle maker, make something related to the show and send it on over to canarycryradio@gmail.com or canarycryradio@protonmail.com. Both excellent options depending on your needs. But more than anything, just share the show. Share it with your friends. Share it with your family. Share it on your social media. Word of mouth is really still maintains its first place position as the best way for it to learn about new podcasts. You know, you hear about it from people you trust and you love. And if you got friends and family who are starting to wake up to the fact that the world is not what it seems, go ahead, share an episode with them. Probably not this one. Pick another one.
What? Why not? Why not this one?
Because our brains stopped working about an hour and a half ago.
But our brains always stop working in mid-show.
That's true.
That's not a new thing.
We are exhausted at the end of every show.
Every show, we're like, just shades of ourselves.
You can't even find the words.
I can't even get the words, yeah.
All right. So go do that. Thank you very much. We like to call it rattling cages. And if you need any more instructions, here's what you do. You walk right up to them, you grab them by the cage, and then you shake them.
The end of the world occurred pretty much as we had predicted.
I want to shake things up, stir up some controversy, rattle a few cages. Hey, stop that! You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man, a crusader for the little guy. Leave the bird alone. Never. Rattle a few cages. Rattle a few cages.
The human race will have every opportunity to improve.
And if they don't?
Ask Noah.
That's right. Just ask Noah. And if you are looking for a new social media home, consider heading over to canarycry.community. That's the URL, canarycry.community. It is a great collection of Canarians. You're not going to want to miss out on canarycry.community. filled with producers and listeners and wonderful people, maybe even a battle in the canarium. Well, anyways, canarycry.community. Go there. Gons, any last words?
Have a great weekend, everybody. Praise God.
Woo! All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Canary Cry News Talk. Make sure to tune in next time, but until you do, think outside the cage.
Come on, man. Keep yapping, man. Boy, it's really a productive segment, man. Aborted feces.
They are scum.
Stop this progress before it is too late.
Remember, reality is an illusion. The universe is a hologram. Bye, gold. Bye!
I want to shake things up, shake things up. I want to shake things up, shake things up. Leave the bird alone. I want to stir up some controversy. I want to rattle a few cages. I want to rattle a few cages. I'm the last angry man. You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man. I'm the last angry man. You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man. A crusader for the little guy. Little guy. Little guy. Well, we'll see about that.
Whatever, Illuminati.
Do pot. That's where I started.
Come on, man.
A huge blunt, a joint. Give everybody mushrooms.
Smoke. The CIA, I mean, lots of intelligence agencies have tested secretly dosing communities.
LSD. Psychoactive pills should be covertly administered.
Just put me on some, I don't know.
You get shot in the butt.
Fluoride, oxytocin, get a chemical hug.
I did dabble, some of that robot crack. I know what it's like.
It's a lethal recipe for disaster. You need help.
If you're a pharmacist, you need to repent.
All right, weird.
Burn it all.
He's a Satanist.
It will kill.
Called it.
Fun fact, I believe it was another fun fact.
We're made by the aliens.
Fun fact.
Aliens.
Another fun fact.
We're made by the aliens.
My Screamo days.
In the future, humans will be confined in a people's zoo.
People, I'll keep you safe and warm in my people's zoo.
Science is truth.
I'll keep you safe and warm now in my people's zoo.
Are you even woke?
You in my people's zoo. I'll keep the cameras on.
Everybody wants waffles.
I'll keep the cameras on now in my people's zoo.
And melt those babies into candles.
You in my people's zoo.
They are scum.
We should invite fewer people to be born.
fat and sassy. In my people's zoo. I'll make you fat and sassy. In my people's zoo. Faithful generation! You, yeah, you. You, yeah, you. You, yeah, you. In my people's zoo.
I'll keep you warm and safe in my people's zoo.
Do not come back, you Nazi psychopaths.